They didn't know they'd started a war they couldn't win. I'm Derek.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Jack.
Welcome to Rambothon on Bad Movies, Worst People. This month, we're doing our Rambothon. All 5 Rambo movies in celebration of Sylvester Stallone's birthday, which is in July 26th.
July 6th.
I think it's just the 6th, yeah.
I don't know why I
How
keep
do
saying
I know
26th.
this and you don't?
I don't know. I'm the one who came up with the idea.
But
I
it's
think
also
we've gone-
somebody else's birthday.
Oh, it's my good friend Ryan's.
That's
but
right.
We've gone over this. Derek moved out information like birthdays and anniversaries for
Oh, he
things
does.
like box office and movie quotes and taglines.
He has remembered my birthday, and that's all that really matters, right?
Well, he's got it tattooed on the bottom of his foot.
Oh no, it wouldn't be on his foot; it'd be on his hand.
As long as we have important dates remembered, you know, like or they're tied to important things or
9/11.
things I can remember. Yeah, I remember Edward's birthday.
Always remember.
I remember yours because it's Dia de los Muertos. I remember our anniversary because it's Friday the 13th.
That's
These
so
are easy
fucking
things,
easy.
yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yes, that's right. It's every Friday the 13th.
Every
Every Friday the 13th is our anniversary. We've been married for like almost 25 years by now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Those
crazy.
look great.
Thank you. I do lotion.
I do lotion too.
Makes it so soft and supple, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I do it.
So this is the first Rambo we're doing. It's not Rambo. First Blood.
Yeah, I was going to say, we went through this last night so many times. I watched with friends of mine, and this movie's never been called Rambo.
Ever.
Ever. It's not Rambo 1.
Nope.
It's First Blood, based on the book.
First
or
Blood.
novel,
Yes.
First Blood.
Which is based on a real person.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's I found a little more information when I was reading online. The guy it's actually based on was a World War II veteran who was like a highly decorated soldier. He didn't come back to the United States and kill a bunch of people, but he was an actor also, and he did a movie. And I meant to write it down, but he did a movie where he also played himself.
Let's get this straight, though, real quick. What is the body count on John Rambo?
In
Zero.
this movie,
In this movie?
they say 0. They say 0.
Oh,
I'm saying 1.
he says 3.
I
Because there's
say
that cop
2 to
car.
3. However many. Okay, so I don't count Galt
Okay.
No.
because that's his own fault because he took off his fucking seatbelt.
I mean, you're not wrong.
But he does crash that fucking state trooper car into a parked vehicle and
That
they
has
explode.
3
Okay.
people in this vehicle.
She said there was 3. I was like, there's at least 2. I didn't
Well,
notice.
that's because there was
split hairs.
2
It's
hands
2
coming out the
adults.
backside.
It was 2
Oh.
adults and a baby in this cop car.
And
So he's got 2.5 on his record here.
How would there be 2 hands coming out of the cop
There's
car, by the way?
one-
Those back windows aren't supposed to roll down, are they?
they roll down. Yeah, they roll down. They just
I think the up fronts have control of the back behind.
Yeah.
I don't think in 1982 we had up front control. Was there power windows in 1982?
Oh, yes.
Not in a cop car.
But
In
also,
my
windows
Cadillac
only
there
went
was.
partial way. Back windows only went like halfway.
Oh.
So
But either
it was
way,
just an arm. I just remember seeing the 2 arms, one out each window.
What if it was a cop car full of mannequin parts? I think we're overlooking a very clear answer here.
No, it was clearly there was not very many stunt people. I think, 6?
Yeah, there was only like 5 or 6 stunt people listed in the credits.
Okay,
One of them
so
is
they're
a big
working
one, which I will
overtime.
bring up.
And Sly, actually, what did he say? 85% of his own stunts?
Yeah, he did almost all of them.
He broke his ribs.
he didn't do the
broke his
driving.
arm.
Did he break his rib on the fucking tree fall?
Yes.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm glad they left it in.
He
Yeah.
didn't do the driving, but he did most of it. I don't think he did the scaling of the side of the mountain.
You can
either,
tell
but
it's not him in the motor. Like anytime it's not him in the motorcycle, they're doing a good job of this guy popping a wheelie,
Fantastic.
so you can't see his face. You just see a kind of bad wig.
Or getting
Yeah.
just the backside of him. Like,
But
no,
let's
I
get-
was.
that
they
was
did
the
a
thing
great
yeah,
job.
let's
Let's get to this movie because
Yeah.
I fucking love this movie.
Yes.
Loved it.
So I want
Kind
to
of.
point out up front for all the listeners who are going to be like, "This isn't a bad movie."
It's not.
Let's go ahead and call this schlock and load because it is schlock, but it's not bad. This is a great movie. This is a wonderful movie.
It's so much better than I remembered it being.
Yeah,
And I was
but,
pleased.
And she's never seen it.
Yeah, this was my first
Ooh.
time. Are you jealous?
I'm jealous.
But I wanted to cover all 5 so that we could have a baseline for the next 4 that just get as far as I know, progressively worse. I've never seen the last one, but
you have to know this to know if you just jumped to number 2, you're getting Stallone at a much bigger frame. I mean, he looks good in this. Like he's fit, he's muscular, but he bulks in number 2. I mean, the shirtless machine gun fire is much more prevalent. It's over the top in a good way.
Yeah. This movie really should just be called like ACAB the movie. Because these cops are bastards.
Yeah.
I have the same feelings about this franchise as I do similar to the Rocky franchise. Rocky 1 is a beautiful movie. Rocky 4 is funner.
Do you hate
Rambo
me more because
1,
I haven't
even
seen
though
that
it's
also?
God, I don't understand you.
Rocky 1 doesn't have a robot, so
That's true. That's true. They did jump the robot on that one.
Rocky 4, on the other hand.
But no, I think that I'm going to call it Rambo 1 just for the sake of this.
Yeah.
The first Rambo is a much better movie. The second one is much funner. Much more fun. Nope, funner.
And I think, I mean, the
Wait till we
naming,
get to the funner.
Not a doctor.
not a doctor. I think the naming convention would be confusing if Stallone wasn't such a big star when these came out, and people didn't know Rambo so well, because it goes First Blood.
Yep.
And then Rambo, First Blood Part 2.
It's so confusing.
And then Rambo 3. And then Rambo. And then Rambo Last Blood.
It's ridiculous. It's the same people that were naming Xboxes. Xbox 360. 1.
Xbox
X.
One. Wait, what? No, that's the third one, though, right?
You don't know numbers.
Right?
I hated that because it was like you'd only know what that meant if you knew their marketing. They were like,
Yeah.
it's called the One because it's the one thing you need for your multimedia center. And I'm like, that's why you call the other one 360. That's the same thing. You're doing the same
PlayStation's
thing.
winning. PS5. The next one, probably a 6. Just guessing.
What's the next Xbox going to be?
10.
Your guess.
Pi.
Well, because we got what, 1 and then Series
Xbox
X.
Pi.
Series X and Series S, because why not just use letters that sound exactly
Then
the
there's
same?
the Series 1X.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one that's only downloadable, right?
No, that's
That's
the
the
S.
S. The 1X was the 4K version of the Xbox One.
Oh, that's stupid.
It's
I remember
so
that
fucking
now.
stupid.
But do you know
and I
what's
own
not?
Xboxes. Like I have them.
I love Xbox. I
And
got
I
them right there.
can't stand the names.
You know what is not in Last Blood?
What's that?
Xbox.
Xbox is not.
You
Ooh,
don't know?
there's not a lot of product placement.
No,
No,
we
there was
discussed that. I think a lot of the product placement, quote unquote, like the signs you see,
Yeah.
are just the signs in this town.
Oh,
so
there's
it's
also
not really.
a sign. We're gonna get to it much later, but I have to bring up a sign placement that is beautiful.
Is
I
it
think
the
it's the one
Santa?
she's talking
It
about. Yeah. Okay, so this movie
So-
came out in 1982. It's rated R and it's 93 minutes. Let's just get that out
It's
there.
beautiful.
Okay. I do have a quick question for Mr. Jack, though.
Oh,
Would you consider this a Christmas movie?
No.
There's a Christmas tree.
nope. We discussed this in detail last night. It's for me, a Christmas movie needs to have a very certain sentiment, a change of heart, maybe a miracle.
I mean, there was.
I did
This
hear you
is a
saying this
movie.
All
doesn't-
three of those.
This is he doesn't have a change of heart.
Yeah, he does.
No, he wants to kill people the whole time. He's a hurt
Yeah,
man.
then at the end, he
end,
gives up
he-
on killing
he
people
cries
after he
and he's like,
reconnects
"You're
with his
right."
father figure.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm not arguing this is a Christmas
And
movie.
it's a
I will
miracle.
argue about Die Hard.
I did
but-
forget the whole Christmas thing though. Like
So did
until the last was it 30 minutes of the movie? I was
Yeah,
like,
I
holy
know.
shit.
Yeah, when Brian
Christmas town.
Yeah, when Brian Dennehy's leaving the police station, you see the little tiny Charlie Brown Christmas tree, and I'm like, oh.
And then you see the billboard.
Yep. Which we
so
gotta get to.
this flick was directed by Ted Kotcheff. He'd been directing for a very long time. He's done other movies. The only one I think anybody in this room will know is Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh yeah. Just the first one?
Yeah, just the first one. Because he did mention in the behind the scenes that we watched that he'd been directing for like 30 years or something, and it's like, well, I don't know any of those things.
Yeah. I know Weekend at Bernie's.
But I did want to mention, we talked about the stunt people a little bit. One of the stunt people, the top billed one, is Buddy Joe Hooker. Which is a great name.
Great name.
Great name.
He
Great
is-
This is my buddy Hooker.
He was heavily featured in all the promotional stuff for the Tarantino Rodriguez Grindhouse thing.
Okay.
Because he is Kurt Russell's stuntman
I'm
in
gonna say his stunt son, like it's a stepson, but not really.
in Death Proof. But he is, going through his history, he is in basically every Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino movie.
So this guy's been in a lot of things that you love.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, he's been in movies, and he was in those because Tarantino knew him from movies in the past, because that's
Yeah.
how Tarantino rolls, right? So he's a big stuntman, and it's kind of awesome that he was in this. They don't list what stunts they did, obviously, anywhere, but I'll assume because he did a lot of driving in his career that he's probably
the dirt bike guy.
I think
dirt
he's
bike.
on the dirt bike
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And also in the the army truck.
Well, plus, if he's playing Kurt Russell's
big old
stunt
deuce
double,
and a
he could
quarter.
probably play Sylvester Stallone's stunt double 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
You just got to make your face a little droopier.
I love that Kurt Russell was playing a stuntman, but he had a stuntman.
That's irony.
But why not just make the stuntman the stuntman?
Because you want Kurt Russell in your movie anytime you can.
This is true.
Yeah. Also, fun fact, they were considering, and I think it was before it got picked up by this studio that ended up making it, but they definitely considered Chris Christopherson for Rambo at one point, with Gene Hackman as Sheriff Teasel and Lee Marvin as Colonel Troutman.
I would have loved this. I mean, nothing against Brian Dennehy, but damn.
Also,
Yeah.
who was the other one that was going to be Teasler?
Troutman?
Troutman.
Troutman
Yes.
is the colonel, right?
Right.
He was supposed to be played by Kirk Douglas, like literally up until like the day before filming.
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas showed up and he hadn't had any like approval of the script or whatever, and he showed up and he's like, "Here, I have notes," and he basically handed them a new script. And the ending he wanted was Rambo dies, which was also the ending of the book, and that was also shot, and we have the alternate ending on the Blu-ray, and it's really fucking hard to watch. But Rambo dies, and
Oh, spoiler for anybody listening. Rambo doesn't die. He is in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
spoiler, we will be talking about Sylvester Stallone for the next 5 weeks.
If you're good enough for that. Where did I get a load of me?
They didn't want him to die, they wanted him to live, but then they still ended up shooting that ending. And then they tested it, and it did not go well. Like the director in the behind-the-scenes thing said they did it at a test audience, and someone in the audience was like, "Is the director of this movie in here? Because he needs to be strung up."
Yeah.
On blast. I mean, it's an uncomfortable movie already with how we're treating this veteran.
Yeah.
That a death would have made it a stick. I would have left that theater feeling bad.
And
Exactly.
and this movie is very different from the book. In the book, he's just a madman who kills. He kills a lot of people.
Okay.
Like 85 people or something like that. In this, like we said, he doesn't officially kill anybody. We'll debate that.
Yeah, we'll go through each attack, I guess.
Yeah. But they were trying to make him a more sympathetic character.
Yeah.
They didn't want you to feel, they didn't want to make veterans look bad. They were trying to make you feel bad for the way that America treats veterans, which we should. And if Stallone was basically like, hey, if we end the movie with him dying, then that kind of sends the message to all these veterans
That we don't care.
The only way to solve your issues is if you die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really not what we should be saying.
And he was very adamant about that in the interview that we watched. Like Sylvester was just like, no, we need to show that these guys have PTSD, which was just considered shell shock. Like,
Well, and that's a pretty new term for 82.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
they
guessing,
didn't
I don't-
even have the term PTSD yet
Yeah.
at that point. Something I read had said that the original budget was 11 million and ended up costing 17 million because they went way over.
Oh, okay. I
So it just
looked at
took a long
IMDb
time.
just to see, and it was 15 is what they estimated it at. So
Yeah,
2 million more than that.
and
but
the,
dude got an $18 million loan from his uncle.
yeah,
in
one
France.
of the producers
chill.
said that one of the producers called his uncle and was basically like, "Can you let me borrow some money? I want to make this movie."
Can I borrow a cool 18 million?
Exactly. He's like, "I just said 18 million.
We need 17, but a little extra couldn't hurt.
Exactly. Fill those pockets, baby.
I mean, there's all kinds of numbers all over. Because online, like the one thing I read said 11 and then 17. Something else said it was 14 or 15. He said 18, but whatever. It's still pretty cheap. I mean, I don't know in 1982. I feel like that was still pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
so we just did Supergirl of 1984, and that was 35.
Oh, shit.
And that looked like shit.
I'll watch this again right now if we never bring up Supergirl.
Okay.
Also,
All right.
Fine.
Podcast.
another fun fact about it is it was released in October of 82.
That was a fun fact, Whitney.
No, but it was 7 million grossing the first week.
Yeah.
And then the next week, another 7.
I did look that up.
And then the next week,
the
another-
opening
just-
week, it must not have had a lot of hype because it opened up
Yeah.
as like, yeah, okay, like
Well,
a
the
middling
only
kind of
thing
movie.
he had at that point that was popular was Rocky and Rocky 2.
Yeah.
Everything else he was in was a bomb. Also, this year, Rocky 3 came out. The same year this movie came out.
Okay.
And then
that's
when
the one with
when,
Mr. T. That's the one with Clubber.
Yes.
Yes.
And then when
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
When-
I'm looking at the girl just said she's never seen a rock. Is that the one with Mr. T or the one with Ivan Drago?
Drago.
Drago's 4.
No, the first two
Really?
are both Apollo Creed.
Huh.
Third one is Mr. T.
Why do I
Fourth
feel
one is
like-
Dolph Lundgren. And the
I knew
fifth
Dolph
one,
was in one.
The fifth one is Tommy Gunn. I can't even tell you who this actor is.
Why do I feel like Ivan Drago was in a good one though?
Fourth is a good one. The fourth is the funnest one
Fun.
for me. It's still good. If he dies, he dies.
Isn't the guy who was on Gilmore Girls like the son of Rocky?
Why are you looking at me when you're asking about Gilmore
I looked
Girls?
at him.
I
too.
don't know who you're talking about.
The woman who plays Adrian is Jason Schwartzman's mom.
Huh.
If that's what was Jason Schwartzman ever on Gilmore Girls?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No,
He's better than
Schwartzman
that.
doesn't sound
It's not a Wes
right.
Anderson movie, so probably not.
Milo Ventimiglia. I fucked
I
his
think you
name
nailed
up.
it.
That sounds right. Ventimiglia? I don't know. That's what I've always said. But I have no idea still.
We still haven't talked about this movie because
No,
we're gushing.
any of it.
We're gushing
Milo or
over
Milo?
it.
I don't. I
Milo.
swear he went by Milo.
I mean, we don't need to go. I mean, I have my like plot point notes, but we don't really need to go through plot points because most people have seen this except Whitney. And if you haven't, you should.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to the recommendations, but stop this and watch it.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. Unless you don't care
Why are
about
you
it being
still here?
spoiled. Yeah. No, pause. Okay, now we're back.
Welcome back. That was a cool little 95 minutes, Derek. Wow, that's Stallone.
I did have an issue with how it started. That was my
Just
only
slow?
No. When we were watching it, I was like, why isn't he using his words?
Because
when they're in
he
the-
does talk about at the very end, he's like, I don't talk to anybody for sometimes days.
Yeah,
sometimes
that's why
more.
at the end I understood.
So
but
to
at the
set it up, I
beginning-
guess he's a Vietnam vet. We don't really know that. He's got the veteran coat, the very olive drab, the
Yeah.
OD green.
it says U.S. Army.
He's got the flag on it. He's walking through this town. He's walking through a winter wonderland.
with his long hair,
does- he
long
does-
shaggy
for the
hair.
time. I mean,
Yeah.
now, well,
just
not
because
long.
it's another issue that they kind of cover. He meets up with this woman, and they never establish whether it's this guy's mom or wife.
No,
It could
but he's
be
looking
either.
for an ex.
I think it was a neighbor.
Well, it's someone related to this guy.
Yeah.
he's looking for one of his former squadron
Compatriots.
mates. Yes,
His
which
brother
we
in
find
arms.
out is supposed to be the only other surviving one besides him. They all died in Vietnam, and he died just recently from cancer due to Agent Orange.
And there's a line in this where he's when Stallone's talking about it, he says he was killed in Vietnam. He just didn't know it.
Yeah.
Cancer ate him to the bone.
That's
It's
at the end when he's having his,
and this shit
his
was real. For
ramble.
anyone that doesn't know, that shit is fucking real.
Yeah.
It is.
And you know what's really fucked up? I thought this lady did a great job. I thought her little short performance was very convincing and moving. She's not in the credits, and nobody even knows who played her.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Well,
it's like
here's
Someone
to you,
knows,
woman.
but
It's like Wayne's World 2 and he's getting directions. He's like, Gordon Street. I remember Gordon Street. I know it's a small role, but can't we do better than this? And they insert Charlton Heston. Gordon Street. I remember a girl who lived on Gordon Street. Sorry, I just want to talk about Wayne's World 2.
Almost like Kim Coates doesn't get any credits when he's in Michael Bay
Yeah,
movies.
Kim Coates has got like 3 movies that we've done that he's not technically in. Stupid.
so this takes place in Hope, Washington, which
Mm-hmm.
he's walking. He's again, like we said, he's walking down the street like Incredible Hulk style. It literally looks like the closing scene of Incredible Hulk, except he's walking toward the camera instead of away from it. The cartoon, or not the cartoon, the television
The series.
show, not any
I
of
mean,
the
it
movies.
looks cold when he's walking through this.
Oh
this
my God, it
fucking
looks so
town.
cold.
It
Yeah.
looks-
They were saying in the behind the scenes that it got to like
40
40 below
below.
with wind chill.
I mean, we're talking about. I don't know if we've said it yet, though. It takes place in Washington, filmed over in Vancouver.
Yes.
Yeah, British Columbia.
Yeah,
Which I mean, it's basically Washington.
it's close. It's a nicer Washington. I don't mean like. I mean the people are nicer. Eh?
Hey,
They also said it rained every day.
fun fact, maybe a shared universe, who knows? But there's a movie I would like to do in the future called Recoil with Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, not another
Say,
one.
don't just.
Not the $6 million
Don't
man.
just Stephen Austin him.
Stone Cold Steve Austin and Danny Trejo called Recoil, and it looks fucking stupid and ridiculous. But it also takes place in Hope, Washington. So
We'll get you some of that.
Is this the RCU?
This is the RCU, the Rambo cinematic universe. We're gonna gather a bunch of people to start a team.
So he did that,
He did.
Yeah, the
oh man!
Expendables.
and Steve Austin was in it.
Speaking of expendables.
Well, I mean, they
Let's
are the
start that over.
Expendables. There's they have
The
get new
ever
people.
expanding bulls. Expendables 4 trailer I just saw today, and man,
There's
that looks
4 of them
shitty.
now?
Yeah, well, 4 is not out yet.
I still
but
need to watch them. When it first started, I was kind of out of my I don't want to watch the 80s and 90s schlocky stuff anymore phase.
it is stepdad schlock.
It was entertaining.
Well, I started
Oh, yeah,
watching
I'm not
it.
trying to say don't watch it. I'm just saying it's your stepdad schlock.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, well, you know what you're getting. I mean, they're literally selling it as hey, remember those movies? It's that.
Remember the VH1 show where they put like a super group together band? That's this, but in a fucking airplane that floats.
And I started watching the first one recently because I was like, oh, they're all on Prime, I think. I started watching it, but it was after Whitney went to bed, and I'm sitting out here watching it, and it's one of those ones where it's like, hey, you guys, we're talking now. Kaboom! What the fuck? So I had to turn it off because I was like, I can't sit here and just keep going up and down.
You think
man.
Stallone was in the editing like, can you make the kabooms a little more boomier?
I did notice some annoying CG right off the bat in that, but we'll let it go.
You know
what this movie does not have?
Annoying CG.
I was standing up. Well, in my mind, I was giving it the standing ovation every time there was a real.
Oh my god, that gas
God.
station.
The
We'll
gas
get there.
station was
I had a Ramboner.
So we meet Brian Dennehy now. He's the evil sheriff, basically.
Yeah.
Will Teasel, I think. The credits just say Teasel, but I think they said Will.
There is a point where
they
they're
say
screaming
Will.
Will.
Oh, that's right. They do. That's right. Because I remember
times.
thinking, we should do a drinking game to this. Oh, no, you would be dead.
That forcing, Will.
Yeah, I was telling her, I was like, what is it? Daddy, I'm over here. I got hurt.
But that scene, I can't wait to get to that
Brian
scene.
Dennehy is a commanding motherfucker, too.
Yes,
He steps onto set.
I think he's great. I think, like Gene Hackman's great, but I would have been less intimidated by Teasel if he had a curly fro than I was by Brian Dennehy. Brian Dennehy is an imposing man.
For people that don't know off the bat, he is the father in Tommy Boys, what I think everybody here would know him from the most. Also, if you haven't seen the movie Gladiator, not the Russell Crowe one, the one with him and Cuba Gooding Jr. doing a bare knuckle boxing ring. Fucking awesome.
What?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be on this podcast, but we can just get together and watch it.
We can just watch it.
let's.
I don't have to just watch things.
I know, we can
this.
watch good movies like we did this time. I'm so happy we watched a good movie.
What are we doing after we record?
It sounds like we're watching Gladiator.
It sounds like it. You want to wait till it cools off, right?
Yes, I do.
He was also he's been in a lot of stuff. Some of the big ones that I know off the top of my head is Silverado. He's in Cocoon.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tommy Boy is always and forever the first thing I think of because that's almost definitely the first thing I saw him in.
Anything you want to keep cool, son.
that was the one movie that your friend recognized him from, right?
Absolutely.
Also, like, that's one of the first scenes in cinematic history that ever made me like choke up.
Yeah.
He's dancing at the party and he just falls over and you're just like, oh no, now he's stuck with evil Bo Derek.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's a -10 in that movie.
Yeah, she was.
That's like the only movie she acted in that was where she actually acted though. Like, she was in a lot of movies that her husband directed, John Derek, who is I think 30 years older than her. They got married when she was 16 and he was like 46.
Good God.
And
what
they had
did you talk about?
And they had to flee.
There was no talking.
Yeah, they weren't talking. They had to flee.
He made her face the other way.
They had to flee to Germany to get married so they wouldn't get arrested and stuff. Yeah, no, it's a good time.
If you have to leave the country to marry the person you want to be with, like, obviously there's something wrong with that.
Yeah.
I've heard it discussed on other podcasts that talk about movies. John Derek movies tend to just be like, look at that guy trying to fuck my wife. I like that. Do you like that? Check it out.
Does that
like,
make
that's
him a
all
cuck?
it is.
He's
definitely.
He's a very early cuck.
He is the cinematic.
He defined cuck.
Yeah, he is the cinematic cuck of history. Because I mean, that's literally what it is. It's like there's this Tarzan movie where it's just like everybody's grabbing on her and fondling her, and like he's just like, yeah, do that. Let's put that.
We're
in slow
redoing
motion.
Robin Hood. And it's gonna be called Friar Cuck. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna have Kevin Costner fuck my wife.
So, all right, let's get through this movie because we've literally introduced two characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's going to the town. Rambo is John Rambo. John J. Rambo.
What a great
I don't know what the
fucking
J
name. Like,
stands
as soon
for.
as he's like, I'm John J. Rambo, I'm like, oh man, I'll remember that.
Yeah. By the way, Rambo apparently comes from the name of an apple.
Okay.
That's fun. I don't know. I read it on the interwebs.
I've eaten a lot of apples. I've never had a Rambo.
They probably stopped making them.
Oh.
People were like, if I eat that apple, it's going to stab me.
Like a pineapple?
But yeah, so he's coming into town, and basically Brian Dennehy sees him and is like, gross, hobo. And so like drives over to him, and he's fake nice, very clearly.
He says a line at this point. He's like, careful wearing that flag, because it's got the American flag on his breast.
With
like, be
that
careful
hair.
wearing that flag and that hair in this town. So, I mean, like, Does this town just not like vets?
So
Again-
that's the first. When I saw this movie when I was younger, I was always like, so this town just really has a thing against Vietnam veterans, I guess, because there was a backlash.
I mean,
against
America
Vietnam
in general
veterans.
did have a thing against Vietnam.
Yeah,
vets.
which
they were
this
not
is
well
very much
sent
covered
home.
in this. Yeah.
Which
Oh
I mean,
my
hey,
God, called
by
baby
the way, you
killers,
can protest the
spit on.
Vietnam War you want. I guarantee you, none of those motherfuckers wanted to be over there.
Yeah.
1,000%.
And you know what? And I mean, I'm basing all of my experience off of movies because I was not in Vietnam.
Yeah,
but
me neither.
there are always the characters in movies who do have a good time doing the raping and the killing of children and the killing of women and the burning of villages and that stuff. Dolph Lundgren,
Yeah.
in Universal Soldier
ears.
and stuff. Yeah, but that is not what the majority of these people want to do.
No.
And when he and the stories that he's telling at the end of this movie when he has his like nervous breakdown, these are real stories that he heard from veterans.
Yeah.
So you can see why it's kind of the same thing as what's been happening, in Iraq and Afghanistan and stuff, where there's a mixture of like, well, you're killing. Like sometimes kids are getting killed, but sometimes kids are doing the killing. So
Yeah.
it's a very
Yeah,
very
what are you
fucked up
supposed to do
situation.
at
And
that
like you
point?
said, younger, it's like I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, man, I was raised in like a pro-America, pro-veteran house, and
Yeah.
I don't understand this sentiment of this small town. I think Dennehy, at the end of the day, just wants a fucking quiet little town, and
Yeah.
you're a drifter that's going to fuck up status quo.
Well,
Get the fuck
exactly.
out.
He saw
in a nice way. Get the fuck
He
out.
saw a vagrant drifter guy coming in who looks quote unquote disheveled.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks fine, but it's 1982.
He looks fine
It's right
by
after
now
the Vietnam
standards.
War, so he
Yeah.
has long hair. He's got stubble. He's not exactly clean because
Homeless or
he's
hipster?
also walking into town. And
This
this
is
town
a-
does not seem like a walk into town kind of.
Yeah. This is a post-hippie. Like this town hated hippies, and they barely survived it.
And there's also apparently a thing in the book, which is, I guess, kind of hinted at in the movie, only because of stuff in his
the
office.
Korean War?
Yeah, that Dennehy's character was a Korean War veteran, and so he was kind of basically also just pissed off at Vietnam veterans because they were getting attention paid to them and no one gave a shit about Korea.
Yep.
It's the forgotten
Oh.
war. Because
Yeah,
in
that
his
makes
office,
sense.
he does have like a Purple Heart and stuff
There's
like
like
that.
a mortar
so-
shell on his desk.
Yeah.
I always took it this guy was like the high school quarterback, and he doesn't understand how to lose. He
Yeah.
doesn't know what somebody else being better than him is about.
I could see that too.
That's just me making up my own.
But yeah, he was
headcanon.
just a complete dick.
Yeah,
From
and then
the
you know what?
gate.
And Stallone is coming into town, and he says all he wanted was a meal. All he wanted was a Pepsi.
So this
Just
whole
one
movie,
Pepsi.
this whole movie is Rambo being hangry.
Yes.
Yes.
Feed your friends, people. They might go torturous on you.
Brian Dennehy throws him in the car, drives him to the other side of town,
30 miles
pushes
outside
him
of
out of the
town.
car, and says, "Hey, there's a diner up the road. Go there and eat." And he's like, "By the way, maybe you should take a bath and get a haircut." And I'm like, "Hey, you know where he could have got those things done in your
town.
fucking town?
In town.
Yeah, but you just took him to the other side of town and said, "Get the fuck out."
Yeah.
maybe he's trying to get himself together.
This town has no hotel. They don't want you to stay. Gas up and go, pal.
I didn't see any hotels.
Long-haired, freaky people need not apply.
I do love those. So he drops Rambo off, and Rambo immediately is like, "Man, fuck this shit."
And
About
immediately
face.
starts walking back.
He's like, "Man, fuck that guy." Like, he was calm and collected, and he you could tell he was stewing, but
Oh.
he was like, "Whatever, man."
And we know nothing
like,
about Rambo's character at this point.
No,
He just refuses to talk.
Easy work for this guy for the first hour of the movie.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got maybe 5 lines, and
Yeah.
he does them well. It's just he's a very stoic, quiet character.
Again, he is like he says at the end. He doesn't talk to people. He doesn't
Yeah.
interact with people because nobody wants to talk to him.
You might even think he's a dick right now. You don't know because now Brian Dennehy, throws against the car and pulls out the
knife.
The knife. I
Dude,
mean, if
this
you know
knife-
any Rambo knives,
And I
it's
didn't
this one.
I didn't get the guy's name. I should have, but it was made by like a famous knife maker, and
Okay.
apparently the movie was also thanked by the knife industry.
Oh.
because after this movie came out, everybody wanted.
Oh, we
a fucking
talked about
hunting
that
knife.
last night. My friend Bleep said, "How many of those knives do you think were sold?" It's like the next day, a million.
million.
And
Like,
this-
that next day.
7 million.
And this specific one wasn't made for wasn't like already a thing that existed. It was made for this movie. So like,
Really?
with
That
the-
I didn't
I mean, I'm
know.
sure there were factors of it,
particular
but the
one.
particular way it was made with like
The survival
Dude, it's got so much
aspect.
cool stuff. The compass inside
The
the
needle
hilt.
and thread.
There's needle and
Matches.
thread. There's matches. There was like string for like fishing, like a clothesline.
Oh, dude, this thing was.
It was all kinds of stuff in there. It was
And if
great.
I'm not wrong, I think this knife comes back. I mean, it's more in play in the second and maybe the third one.
And also, it's not a part of the book.
The knife isn't?
No.
Interesting. It
So
didn't
I don't
get
wanna
its
read the
own,
book.
like, forward?
No, it's not even in the book. So I'm like, I'm not interested. I do.
Try to be a nice
one of
guy
the
here.
notes to like get to where these cops, how they're treating this guy is as soon as they
It's
bring him in,
heartbreaking.
the officer that does the receiving there or whatever is like, I think he says something along the lines of like, talk about your sorry looking humanity, like right in front of him. Like, man, fuck you.
Did you recognize the gingeriest of gingers?
Oh yeah.
His face wasn't even facing us, and we're like, that's Dave.
Yeah, I was like, I know who this is.
There are two of the deputies that are recognizable.
Yes.
David Caruso,
Yeah.
and then Chris Mulkey, who
Yeah, I know this guy, but
I
what
didn't
from?
write down. I meant to write down what he was from, and I didn't think about it.
He's in. I looked it up on IMDb. He's like 276 entries.
Yeah,
Of
he's
acting.
one of those character actor guys. He's in a lot of stuff, and I think a lot of it's been funny and not this.
Yeah.
David Caruso, of course, CSI Miami, Twins, the things he's known
Jade.
for.
Is he in Jade?
I don't know. We just
Very
watched Twins,
sexy
and he
movie.
was a very small part in that too.
Oh yeah,
He
he's
was
the car parker.
Yeah.
Car park attendant.
yeah.
He's the one that calls DeVito and was like, we got
Nice
you
Hawaiian
another
shirts.
one.
What you guys going on vacation?
Yeah, that's what they look like. They don't look like they're there to sell drugs in the parking lot, which is not what they're doing.
Are those really weird gloves you're wearing there with those Hawaiian shirts? Because people with Hawaiian shirts don't often wear gloves unless they're
driving
killing.
gloves, you know.
Driving gloves. Get out of here. The fuck
Those
out of here.
Jalo
driving
gloves. Just murder leather gloves.
Oh, I can't go yet. I have to get my driving socks. Stupid.
And they're trying to
You
ask
see
him
my
his
driving
name.
condom?
They're trying to ask him his name, and he won't answer. This is where Whitney was getting mad. She's like, "You're causing this trouble for yourself," and I'm like, "Well, yes and no. Like they have been treating him like shit from the beginning. So you know what, man? Fuck
He
you guys.
didn't
Like,
do anything.
He literally has done nothing wrong. He literally walked.
Yep.
I mean, so I think the only thing that Brian Dennehy is like trying to frisk him and stuff, and we see a little snippet of a flashback, and that's when I think Rambo kind of twitches, and then Brian Dennehy's like, "Now you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like, you came at me."
Yeah.
Also, I think if this is like a real small town in the '80s, they shoot him and throw him in the river and be
No,
like,
that would happen today.
"Well, yeah, absolutely." But like, no, he came at me. You should have seen it. Look at
Yeah.
this giant knife he had on him. I
Yeah.
asked him to put his
He
legs.
came at me with a knife, so I shot him 342 times.
Did
you
you
have
have
a
that much
6-shooter
ammo?
revolver. Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was dead, so I reloaded.
Dude, this
reloaded.
fucking Washington bumfuck town, or sorry, what is the Jerkwater USA?
Jerkwater USA.
But this bumfuck town has a fucking like armory.
It's an arsenal.
Yeah,
they
it's
have an
insane.
arsenal.
The
You know?
outpost.
You know why?
Hunting.
Those shifty neighbors up north. You gotta watch Canada.
Yeah, you never know when
They're
they're going to
I
come
love
for you.
Canada.
It will be a poutine invasion.
Oh, speaking
Yes,
of weapons in
please.
Canada, I don't know how true this is. It was just an IMDb trivia little bit.
Oh, it's true.
But apparently they had a truck, one of the like army trucks that they were using, but
big
they
old
had it
goose in the
full
corner.
of like guns and stuff, and I don't know if they're prop guns necessarily, they're unloaded, whatever, but it was full of guns. This truck was stolen from the set.
Ooh.
So somebody in Canada was like, black market.
Oh, yeah, left the truck there with the
Uh-oh.
keys in it. Grab that real quick. Do him a favor. When they got back to the base, it was washed and detailed. The truck is stolen. Oh, it's over there. It looks really good. Wow.
They returned it, but all the guns are gone.
The oil's changed. Hey, they adjusted the lumbar in this seat. That is
Spark
delightful.
plugs? But yeah, we do get his first like actual like flashback that we see here,
Yeah,
which
because
is
he's
like
besides Caruso, everybody's a fucking prick to this
yeah,
guy.
and Caruso's not that nice at the beginning, but he starts to see like he's like, hey guys, why
I
are
think
you
even at this
being
point,
such
though,
assholes?
even
Well,
at
he's
this
the one that
point-
rips the dog tags off.
Yeah, he's
of
he
being
him.
doesn't even rip. He
snarky.
just goes to look at him.
He does try to punch him in the face.
Yeah, well, he had it coming at this point.
But he's like they're yelling at him. The guy's yelling, "What's your name?" And Rambo looks up at like the bars in the window, and it's a flashback to when he was in like a prison or like a
And it
prisoner of
shows
war
all
camp.
of that.
The
and
deputy
it's-
Galt
and he's
is-
got this beautiful fucking mustache, by
Yeah.
the way.
Oh my God,
this
this
Rambo
mustache?
stash is insane.
What happened to this mustache?
And he's in like this pit, and like these Vietnamese guys are like dumping buckets of shit on him.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps I don't know.
It'll be revisited number 2.
Ugh, gross. Yeah, was it
will.
2?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know they go back in 4.
They go back in 2.
But yeah, so I know that they cover it in the 4th one. I just don't remember. I don't remember the 2nd or 3rd one. I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen the 3rd one.
I think
know-
the second one is the one I've seen the most of. Not think, it is.
it's been. I've only seen the 4th one once, but it'll be very funny to go back and see like Stallone at like 50, pretending to be Stallone at like 20, because it's before the age of de-aging. This was like 2007.
youngsters, what are we doing tonight? Grab a couple of brewskis, potty bag.
I am also
cruise Speedway.
I am also a child. So yeah, they're basically just giving him shit. He won't let them print them, and he's trying to fight them. What's his name? David Caruso does try to punch him in the face, and he grabs his hand, and that's when Galt pulls his gun on him.
I don't think he's going
yeah.
to punch him in the face there. He's grabbing his dog tags.
Oh, okay. He
I'm
has
pretty
a
Yeah,
close
that's what he's
fist.
doing. He's going for it because he has the tags in his hand.
Because he won't tell him his name. He's like, oh, look right here. And so these guys now know that he's a GI or at least
he's
vet.
a veteran
Yeah.
of some
I
sort.
mean, he's got his name on there.
Yeah,
but
and
they
and
don't know the depths.
And I think that's what Caruso is like. He's a veteran. We should treat him better than this. And Galt's like, hey, fuck you. How about that?
yeah, I wonder.
Which,
If
like,
Galt,
oh my
I wonder
gosh.
if Galt though has the same thing that Dennehy has going.
I think so.
With like the Korean War.
Yeah,
It was
could be.
mentioned-
Or is Galt what I was talking about, where he's like, I'm top dog. I don't give a fuck about this guy coming
These
to my
old
town.
guys should have a lot more respect for the military because every old dude was in the military.
There is a sentiment though from, and this is not a huge sentiment. Obviously, we talked about the Vietnam vets coming
Yes.
home, baby killers, yada yada. There was also a percentage that was like, you lost the Vietnam War for us. Even though it wasn't a war, it was a police, it was a conflict.
Yeah, and
it was
also
a policing action.
Also,
yada,
they're not the
yada.
ones who lost it, but hey,
Exactly. Like it's just these guys are doing what they're told. They leave when they're told. They do what they're
They do what they're
they,
told.
they follow orders. But there is a percentage that's like, look at these fucking Vietnam wussies. We didn't lose a war back in my day.
I mean, it's actually still going. So they didn't win it. Technically, the
We still
Korean
have a
War never
chance.
ended.
We still have a chance. I said we go in now and they least expect it.
right?
Yeah, I mean-
No, not to Vietnam.
So this is the part where Stallone did all of these fucking stunts right here when he's in the cell and Galt has him stand and then he just takes his little billy stick and whacks him in the back.
Yeah.
On the special features, they did that 18 times and he's really hitting him in the back.
Oh, God.
Like the producer was
Oh,
or
we
the
should say
director
when
was
he
like
get- when
he
he
went home
takes-
black and blue.
Yeah. Well, and that's the actor with the character though when he takes his shirt off, just knife scars, whip scars. I mean,
and that's when
burns.
Caruso really at first Caruso was kind of he wasn't an asshole like everybody else, but he was just he was still being kind of a dick.
Yeah.
When he sees that, he's like, hey, maybe we should tell Brian Dennehy about this and
Yeah.
not keep being assholes.
Oh, and he does run his ID. He calls teleprint.
Oh, they do that eventually. Yeah, that's when they find out he's Green Beret Special
I don't
Forces.
think they find that till he bolts.
Yeah, but I mean that's when he
so-
calls it in.
It moved a little
Yeah.
slower back then.
But what does he call it? He's like, I'm gonna call this into telepack or something.
the teletype,
The
Teletype, the teletypies.
which is if I'm
They
not
got typewriters in
mistaken,
their stomachs.
It takes a few days to get
if
back.
I'm not mistaken, teletype is kind of like an early computer thing where you could request information. It was only for law enforcement and stuff. You could request information
In between
It's kind of like a telegram.
I was going
or
to say it's in
telegraph,
between a
yeah.
telegraph and the internet.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
right betwixt there.
I do want to mention real
Is that
quick.
I get it.
Betwixt? Yeah. It's like old English for in between.
I know, but that's fun. Never mind. Sorry.
Now I want Twix.
I want a betwixt bar.
I'll take the left. I like the left better.
I like
no,
the
I don't
middle.
give a shit. I
I'm-
want
I like the
both.
middle of both.
I'm right.
You know what?
Right, middle,
What I
and
want
left.
to do
There
is
we
take
go.
them both and eat the caramel off of them and then put them together and have a giant cookie.
Oh man, like a psychopath, I used to use my teeth to skin Butterfingers of all the chocolate, and then just eat that crunchy.
Oh, I've done that
little
with
bit.
Butterfingers. I always did it with Twix.
Yeah.
You peel because that caramel comes off real easy.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you've got that delicious cookie.
Were you
I
the
wish I could
psycho
eat
that
candy.
also liked the feeling of the Butterfinger crunch in your fucking molars, and you'd be like,
Yeah.
Oh, I tried
Absolutely.
my
And it would,
hardest to eat Butterfinger with
stick
my front
together.
teeth.
It's got a great mouthfeel there.
But I just hated having to pull it out of my teeth.
He never had a filling.
he's
Okay.
not a pullout
I've had a
kinda
lot
guy.
of fillings, and
Oh,
but
maybe that's why.
There's also times when I needed fillings and couldn't get them because I don't have insurance. I haven't had
Same.
insurance for many moons.
I've got nice feelings.
I'm hooked on a filling.
I definitely lost a crown chewing a Starburst because of that. Well, I didn't get the crown. I only had the filling, and I ate a Starburst, and it pulled the filling out, and then I lost the fucking tooth. So that was
You
awesome.
remember circus peanuts?
Yeah. I
I
love
used to
circus
call those
peanuts.
cavity finders in my family. They take a bite like, oh God, oh,
It's literally just sugar.
it's fluffy orange sugar.
And it's delicious.
Did you eat them soft or hard?
Both.
Well, I would eat them however they came.
Usually hard.
Unfortunately, most of the time they're hard because no one buys them.
My
But when you get those
family
fresh ones, ooh.
Is really weird where we would get the peeps.
And you
We
poke
would-
holes in
we
it?
would poke holes in it and put them on top of the refrigerator for like a month.
That was my sister.
Oh man, that's some good.
Oh my
is
god,
awful.
Carrie Ann used to.
Anyway.
she would get them.
Now
How
I
do you
just-
think Rambo ate his peeps?
Hard.
He'd kill
Cut
them.
the head right off.
He'd lay him on the ground, climb up in a tree, and jump on him with a knife.
Be like, dude, you can't have any more. Nothing is over.
I do want to mention real quick, Galt is played by a guy named Jack Starrett, and I recognize him, and I couldn't tell why.
Yeah.
The only thing I really
Blazing
recognized...
Saddles?
Gabby Johnson in Blazing
Yeah.
Saddles, one of the main Johnsons.
By the way, this guy had a great fucking voice.
He
He-
did.
I
he
want to
had a
say
beautiful,
Gabby
rich
Johnson.
timbre.
Gabby Johnson is the heavy
Super
set
deep.
one that's doing like the town hall meeting kind of. He's like Gabby Johnson, like like whatever Johnson is saying that Gabby Johnson because they're all Johnsons.
Yeah.
He's like I think he's like the main one who's in like the suit and he owns like a general store or something. He's like one of the main ones.
I believe it.
But I
believe it.
recognized him and I couldn't tell why. He is different. Obviously, he's older and he's got a mustache and
But
he's
he's
an
got
asshole.
just such a deep voice. I mean,
Super deep. I was looking around for.
well, clean him up. Like he's good.
I'm sorry, guys. I have to go back.
Go back.
We're rewinding.
Just to what we were just talking about. Jack
Mine
Starrett.
sounded like a bass line.
Slap at the bass.
You're more musical than me.
Gabby Johnson, Blazing Saddles. That's who Jack Starrett played. Gabby Johnson is the crazy homeless guy. The
Oh,
prospector.
shut the fuck up.
That was some authentic frontier gibberish. Oh man, I had to look it up because as soon as I started saying Gabby Johnson out loud, I was like, "No, Gabby Johnson
Yeah, I
is the
couldn't think
prospector,
Gabby.
right?"
Gabby, because you can't fucking understand what he's saying.
Oh, he's got one of the best not lies that doesn't hold up, but it does because it's
We're not
Mel
doing
Brooks.
it here.
The sheriff is near.
I think he said the sheriff's near.
Exactly. But so Galt beats the shit out of this
Yeah.
Vietnam veteran.
And like
Hoses him down like a mad fucking dog with like a fire
don't forget
hose.
to get behind the ears.
And even the guy that's holding the hose is like
Rolling his eyes.
Fucking much, Galt.
Also, the guy who's holding the hose is like, "What? You don't like water sports?" To David Caruso, and I'm like, "That's a whole different thing, buddy."
And then like there's
we're
officers.
gonna pee on him.
There's officers walking by like, oh yeah, get him, boys.
Donald Trump
I
hated.
do have to say,
Donald Trump hated this movie until that guy said water sports. And
Yes.
then he was
greatest
like,
movie ever. There's a lot of good actors in this movie.
"I love that."
Whoa,
cop.
thank you for stopping by, Trump.
I did enjoy.
Now get the fuck out.
I did enjoy, if you caught it, Stallone's tan line, because he's buck naked, by the way.
Yes,
and you
he
get some
is.
sweet cheeks. Did you notice the tan line in his underwear?
I did not.
It was quite bikini.
Yes, it was.
It was slim. It, wasn't thong, but it
was-
wasn't full butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. His first or one of his first movies was called Italian Stallion, and it was definitely softcore porn. So
I've got a lot of range. I could play a boxer. I could play a guy from New York. I could play a tough guy from New York that boxes. What else you want me to do?
I can be a cabana boy.
I could be a cabana boy. Cabana in the hammock.
Oh, that's
there's
it. I'm getting you guys banana hammocks.
no thanks.
You can give me one.
You can get it for me.
You're gonna wear it for me, and you're gonna fucking like it.
The next time it's too hot in here, it's just gonna be me in a banana hammock. Whitney's like, I regret this decision. This is right in my face.
It'll be the first time we just visually record. Also,
It's so angry.
It's an interesting tattoo.
There's another movie I would like to do, but it's impossible to find at this point. Called Death Race 2000.
I was like,
it was a
Italian
very
Stallion?
early. Maybe it was a very early Sylvester Stallone movie with David Carradine, where they're doing like a cross country race, a la
Cannonball
Wacky
Run.
Races.
Oh, Cannonball Run's the live action Wacky Racers.
Yeah, that's what this is. It's a wacky race. They all have these crazy cars with like shit added to them, and they're all in costumes. They're all characters.
If you can find that, I'm very in.
I love it, and
Drive?
I've seen it. It's not. I mean,
Blood
Blood
Drive.
Drive takes a big thing from it because Blood Drive
Okay.
is a nod to all of these kind of movies. Because Death Race 2000 is a Roger Corman movie, so it's that era of like drive-in, schlock. But like, I found it years ago. I watched it. I think I rented it maybe from like Cost Video or somebody.
Yeah.
But like, it's not streaming anywhere. It is on Blu-ray, but Shout Factory put it on Blu-ray, and like everything they do, it's limited. And because it's a popular one, it sold out like that.
Yeah.
And I was looking for it, and I found it. I can get it on eBay for $150. I love
Crowdfund
collecting. Yeah, I love collecting physical media.
if
you know what
want
I'm
us
not
to
doing?
do this, guys,
150, dude. Do you have any idea how many bar tabs that is? That's like 2.
That's at least one.
That's at least 1 good bar tab.
I mean, there's 2 of us.
I like
so-
how I often have problems spending money on things like that. I'm like, $100 for a new pair of shoes. I couldn't do that. I'll have them for years. And then I'll go to the bar and spend $100. I'm like, well, I got these memories for at least the next 2 hours.
And I mean,
That's
Death
me.
Race 2000 would be Death Race would be a good use of that $150 versus going to a bar because I will watch it multiple times. I
Oh,
grew
you
up
only
with
gonna
my
go to a
dad.
bar once?
I grew up with my dad referencing that movie constantly because like someone would be walking in the street or whatever, and he'd just be like 50 points or whatever, and I remember him telling me where it was from once, and I was like, early teens, and he's like, yeah, it's a movie, Death Race 2000. And he
Hey,
told
if
me all
anybody
about
out there
it.
has that Blu-ray,
Oh God, or DVD,
please, or DVD.
because the DVDs are out of print and they're not. You
Yeah.
can't find them. So
Email
Well,
us
well,
that.
yeah,
fucking
email us.
great
We'll have
movie.
you on. I'll buy you a hot dog or something.
Where do you email
What are you
that?
into? Oh, is it badmoviesworstpeople@gmail.com?
Badmoviesworstpeople@gmail.com.
yeah, just
know
make
this
sure
is a
you don't
good
accidentally
movie.
type Hotmail.
Yes, it's Gmail.
How do you spell the mail on that?
Hotmail.com. That's a late night 900 number commercial. So anyway, they're trying to shave him.
1-900
Speaking of
Whitney.
Hotmail, they're trying to shave Sylvester Stallone.
tonight? Looking for some company? You could spray me down the hose. You're not into water sports.
I'm into water sports and shaving.
Not exclusively.
But he has another flashback about the shaving. This one makes a little less sense because it's like the razor blade for the shaving, because they're doing a straight razor, which is brutal.
Well, basically,
and
they
then
got
it
a guy-
flashes back
Galt is,
to
Galt is holding his arms behind his back while McCulkey,
Chris Mulkey, yeah,
I'm just adding consonants.
McCulkin.
So here comes Home Alone himself. No, but he's
Which
got
is
the
just
straight
Macaulay
razor
Culkin,
to
by the
himself, 'cause
way.
He even says like he's tough enough. Don't use a shaving cream. So this guy's like menacingly holding up the razor.
Now don't move.
Flashback to what we assume is some Viet Cong.
Yeah.
Holding a knife, going like you move, and yeah, this is
Brutal.
the tipping point.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where he loses his shit, and he beats the shit out of all these cops. At least 2 of them go through windows.
Yeah.
He
I love a window
decimates
toss.
this. I loved this. We're what, in like 10, maybe 15 minutes into the movie? And he is just tearing apart this police station, like dismantling these people, sliding leg kicks.
Yeah.
Throwing, like you said, throwing deputies through windows. I mean,
This
fuck
one, because one
yeah.
cop
Donut.
is walking into the door carrying donuts or something and just gets an elbow to the fucking face, and he's like,
Yeah.
"What's happening?
What's going on, buddy?
By the way, he really broke that guy's nose.
Did he really?
Yeah, so that's
Oh,
why the rest of
man.
the movie he's got like the.
I thought that was just good continuity.
Nope,
He's got black
I mean-
eyes, and he's got fucking. Hey, there are black guys in this movie. But he's got like the nose tape. I'm doing the fucking pantomime like you can see it. You know where your nose is.
The fact
people.
you know what that word means.
Yeah, pantomime.
I didn't.
So he does like clothesline some innocent civilian and steal his dirt bike.
Oh, but he does the shimmy first. Like you don't know which way I'm going. Left, right,
Yeah,
right.
he
left.
jukes him.
Ah! Yeah, he jukes
Oh
him.
my god, that was fantastic.
When
But
there's
now we
this,
get a good fucking chase
yeah,
scene.
great chase scene. Which another thing I read about behind the scenes was Stallone. I think the quote was, "It was what exactly did he say? It was dangerously non-choreographed. Like they basically just stuck these people in a car and a bike and was like, go."
All right, you go, and then you follow him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And-
There's a point where Dennehy's car hits so hard that they just hear
Oh.
honk.
Yeah,
Yes,
when
I think that
they
was his
jump over the
face.
train tracks. They jump over the train tracks, and there's like just like every time in this movie where they have to jump over something, there's like one of those like the 80s thing where there's like a magic ramp built in that you're
Well-
not supposed to see.
The Dennehy boys are at it again.
Rambo makes the jump. Dennehy makes the jump. That was another one where they had a higher ramp.
Yeah.
And the stuntman made the jump, but the car like did bottom out, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
actually broke like vertebrae in his back. Like he went to get out of the car and couldn't
Jesus
stand.
Ouch, I hope they
Christ.
kept that scene in.
They actually reshot it with a lower jump to make it look more realistic and to not, I guess,
I
have.
love a good jump scene when hubcaps are like flying off the
off.
car.
Yeah.
And this has it. This
Dude,
is
they're
so
driving
good.
through the woods here, and there's like fucking headlights coming off this car and shit. He does not give a fuck about this cop car.
No.
This is getting
There's-
mobbed through the woods.
There was one part where
You gotta keep up with the dirt bike, Derek.
Rambo goes through the field, and you can see the tire tracks from past people.
Oh, yeah.
Like
There's
past
multiple
attempts.
tire
Yeah,
tracks.
yeah, that's not the first take you did there, pal.
I
And
love
he goes
that
down this
shit.
little like side thing, and the cop car tries to follow him and rolls down the hill, which also was not planned.
And it made it look
when
better.
Dennehy gets out,
Yeah. Well,
like that whole, that whole
when the
sequence
car rolls
looks
over,
fucking great, dude.
Yeah,
Yes, it
The
does.
car
Yeah.
they didn't intend for the car to roll over, but it did, and so then they just pulled the stunt driver out and had Dennehy get in and then climb out.
Yeah.
To be
How
like,
do you get in a car upside down?
well, it didn't get crushed.
You know what? I
He's
hope I
not a
don't
small
ever
man.
have to answer that.
He is not a small man.
No, he's not. He's a very imposing fella.
Here's a good note. Rambo does stop after the car rolls
Yes,
over,
to
and he
make sure
turns
he's
around to
alive.
look and make sure that Dennehy's alive.
Because if this thing was catching fire, you better bet your sweet little tush.
He was pulling him
'cause
out
he is not
and then
trying-
running away
He is
again.
not trying to harm these people. They are law enforcement officers doing their job, but they are doing their job incorrectly because they're being rude to this guy.
Yep.
And he's just trying to get away.
So now he's got the dirt bike can't make it up the hill. I like this because it looks.
Was that
like
what it was? Okay, I was like, I thought he
Yeah.
just ditched it so they couldn't hear him. I was like, if you just keep riding, you could get
No,
so
the way
further
that
away.
he ditched it looks like, to me anyway, it looks like I don't know, maybe an experienced dirt bike rider could do this, but it just looked like it was too steep for this.
Okay.
Yeah, he
And it
wasn't
just kinda,
going fast enough for it to.
That's my dirt bike flipping over.
And
I love
he-
we both paramind that.
and he gets to
You
the
can see it.
he gets to like this thing with like this broken down truck and stuff, and he finds this tarp that he cuts out like a poncho for himself.
Oh man, this potato sack, he's wearing the shit out of this potato
He
sack.
still
Mind you-
owns that potato sack because that tarp, it was, again, this is another thing that wasn't planned because they found that tarp in this like the junkyard they were filming
That's
in.
just on set.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
found that, and so he cut out the thing and made the tarp out of it, and so it became like the most protected like prop because they didn't have any doubles for it.
That's amazing.
So this piece of
Yeah.
garbage was the most protected.
second build in this movie is potato sack.
Because
Yeah.
remember, he was buck naked and then like found clothes as he's running through.
Well, I don't think he was bug naked because he's
No, he had his jeans.
yeah, he had jeans
Oh,
and a
he
tank
did-
top.
a tank top,
as,
that's
and as
right.
you said earlier, gets really fucking cold.
Yeah.
We saw him breathing steam.
Yeah.
What's it, Richard Crenna?
Yeah, Richard
Yeah.
Crenna.
He commented in the behind the scenes that he was wearing like multiple pairs of thermal underwear, multiple pairs of socks, gloves, all this stuff on top of underneath his like army outfit.
Yeah.
And he was freezing. And he's like, but then I see Sylvester Stallone walk in wearing jeans and a tank top.
I can barely feel it out here.
And he's like, and he even said, he's like, I think that's what pushed a lot of us through this really cold weather was because he's just walking around like, fuck it, dude. Like, this is my movie.
I'm
I'm
not
doing
a huge
this.
fan of later Stallone, but this early Stallone, like right
He was
here, this
fantastic
is some of
in
my
this.
favorite. Well, because he believes in cinema. I mean, what he did for Rocky and helped push the innovation of Steadicam, and he choreographed all the fights. He was a big writer. Like he pushed cinema in the early '80s forward, and then became a power. He
He
became
almost.
it's almost like Will Smith. Will Smith used to be a good, fun, cheeky actor, and he became Will Smith.
Yeah.
Stallone became something else.
Well, and actually, this movie, Stallone tried to almost get rid of it. The early
Tried to get rid of First Blood.
Yeah, because the early cut of the movie was
For
like
what?
3.5 hours long. This is before you cut, before you finish cutting. And
They were
him and his
godfathering.
agent watched it, and his agent was like, "This movie almost made me sick." And Stallone was like, "This movie is going to ruin my career."
Yeah,
Because
right.
like it's negative on like veterans and stuff like that.
Oh, just wait till you get to Stop My Mom Will Shoot, buddy. Your career
That-
survived
and that you can blame that on Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I've heard this. I've heard
Yeah.
this. Like he talked him into it.
Yeah.
To
Well,
try and
Schwarzenegger literally
pretended
told
to be
him
interested.
Yeah, he told him like, "Oh, I'm going to do this movie. This movie's going to be fucking great," just to get him to do it because he knew it was going to be trash.
to do it. It's going to be the best movie you've ever seen.
But Stallone tried to buy the negatives, like the masters for this movie, so he could make it never come out.
He was gonna
And
George
they wouldn't-
Lucas this
yeah,
shit.
and they wouldn't let it come out. And then they couldn't find funding and stuff.
some digital effects in it.
it's almost Kermit the Frog.
The technology
I
wasn't
know, I
ready
was
yet.
like-
I mean, George Lucas is Kermit the Frog.
he's a lighter skinned Kermit.
He's got someone's hand up his ass.
If we can just go back and reshoot it with some digital effects.
But he, I guess they made like a 40-minute supercut of the movie for like to find distribution, and Stallone saw that, and also distribution was sold within like 5 hours of that thing being
Yeah.
aired. Stallone saw that though and was like, "Oh no, this movie is awesome."
It just doesn't need to be 3 hours.
It just, yeah.
And God,
He actually originally tried to get them to cut him out of the movie almost completely, to where it would be like the other people telling the story, just hunting this guy who's
he
in
would
the
almost
woods.
be like a villain, like I don't know, like an entity.
Yeah.
Where did you read this?
I was reading it last night. I was either IMDb trivia or some other thing. I don't know. I was clicking through a lot of trivia
Saw it
last
on
night.
Pornhub, Whitney.
Oh,
Right
The
after
message
Italian
boards, they
Stallion.
are lit.
So he's trying to get away, and they have dogs and stuff, and he's climbing down. He has to go down this cliff because he
Yeah.
reaches a
comes the
cliffside,
best part.
and he's on the cliffside, and he
It's a tough
tries
thing
to
to say.
scale down. And I love like he's climbing down, and they bring this chopper in, and he like pushes himself up against it, like you can't see
This
me.
is not a T-Rex.
camouflaged.
This is a chopper, not a T-Rex. I heard his vision's based on movement, so if I just stay real, look, I'm part of the cliff.
I'm okay, not this part, but the next 15 minutes is
I mean, we are in some
highlight
really
for me.
fucking dope action. So Galt is in this helicopter, and he took off his seatbelt and he's hanging out. We know he's the villain, kind
Yeah.
of, because he looks at this helicopter pilot. Because the helicopter guy's like, dude, we're in a thermal pocket. I can't hold this steady. It's
Also,
probably
why are you
dangerous."
shooting him? We're only supposed to be doing recon.
Yeah, it's dangerous in this canyon. But I just want to get to Galt's line.
okay.
Sorry. And then Galt says, if you don't fly this chopper right, I swear to God, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
damn, that's
And
your,
his
that's
deep
your,
baritone
Yeah, I can't even do it justice. But he threatens his I don't know, coworker.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't even his coworker. They got this chopper from like a lumber yard. They were, remember, because Dennehy
Oh,
was
that's
like,
right. I don't
tell
give a
them to
fuck."
give us the chopper. I don't give a fuck if they don't want to. We'll arrest them right then.
There's a private helicopter
Yeah.
pilot.
Is this before the traps?
This is before
Yeah.
the traps.
Okay.
This is when
Yeah.
he jumps off the cliff because the Galt is shooting at him and he can't avoid it. The guys are coming from the top, so he jumps off the cliff. He's climbing down. He gets to a somewhat reasonable height, sees a tree, and I was like, "This motherfucker's gonna jump in this tree."
It actually goes well at first. Like
Yeah.
a couple soft little, and then the part we talked about where he actually injured. And when I was watching this with my friends, they were like, "Dad, that looked like it fucking hurt."
Do you know
Yeah.
how many times they had to do this?
7.
No, I think it was 4.
I think he said 4. Yeah,
I went over.
And that 4th one is the one they kept.
God,
This
it's so
big-
good though.
This big bushy tree that he sees is not the tree he jumped through either. Behind the scenes, they show obviously they have a big pad underneath, and he jumps through a much like barer tree
But a
because
real
jumping
tree.
through all those branches
Their arms.
would
Trees
be
have
would be
arms.
very painful because I mean they're not soft.
Yeah.
so it's like a more scant tree, but he is falling through a tree. Yes. And then he ends up actually breaking his ribs. So that part where he's like, "Ow, that fucking hurt." Yeah, well, that's not
yeah,
acting.
it did hurt.
That really is
I am
100%.
terrified of helicopters. Not like that they're coming after me.
You're not Ray Liotta in Goodfellas. You're just driving around watching the sky.
Darren, the helicopter's following me again. I am terrified of being in one. Like, I got no business being in a helicopter.
Why?
Kobe. I don't know. I just like there's something
Were they in
about there's.
helicopter?
Oh yeah.
I thought it was a Cessna.
Oh no, it was a
No,
helicopter.
no, it wasn't a
Crashed right
Cessna
into
pool.
a hill.
It's sorry, callback. No, I'm terrified of being in helicopters, and I haven't even been in one.
So Galt is shooting him from the chopper
Galt's
still.
got a hard on for killing this dude,
yeah,
man.
he's still
Yes,
moving
he
because he
won't
broke.
stop.
He like hit him in the face or whatever. So he's like, "Oh, you hit me in the face. I should murder you."
I mean,
guess.
he's an escaped prisoner at this point.
Yeah.
Like, and no one's ever escaped my block.
And
an
Will
escaped misdemeanor. Come on.
Yeah.
and Will Teasler is like, "Who's firing? Nobody said to kill this motherfucker."
Quick, hand my binoculars. I was hoping it was like a Hot Shots moment where he's getting like a viewfinder. That's Mount Rushmore. Those cliffs look dangerous. This doesn't look
Well,
good. Quick, hand me
I
the
mean,
Mickey Mouse slide. Much better.
Hot Shots Part 2 is a Rambo knockoff.
Absolutely.
Mostly.
1,000%.
Part 1, which is just called Hot Shots, is
Part
more
one
of
is
a
much
Top
more Top Gun.
Yeah.
With, things sprinkled in.
Well, I love in part D.
Sprinkle.
Yeah, they have this same colonel or whatever play the colonel in that.
Yeah,
and
Crenna.
then also they do the scene from Apocalypse Now where Martin Sheen is going down the river.
I loved
They
you
have
in Wall Street.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen's going the opposite direction, and they're just yelling at each other, which isn't how rivers work. By
It's
the way,
voiceovers that are like, they're like, yada, yada, hell. And then you hear both people start talking at the same time as they get closer, and they're like, "Aw." It's a fun fucking part, dude.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
But he grabs a rock and throws it at this chopper, and it makes the chopper pilot swerve, which makes Galt fall out. So, I mean, theoretically, you could put this death on Rambo.
They will. They will.
Well, they will, and then obviously the chopper pilot never told them what happened
Yeah.
because
It might sound like his fault. I don't know.
because the chopper pilot's like, hey, he could be like, hey, by the way, this dude threatened my life and was shooting without orders and whatever, but. He shakes the thing, and dude, when Galt falls, like you don't see him hit the ground, obviously.
No.
But when this guy falls out, it's a real person falling out of this chopper, which is cool. But the sound, like when it happened, Whitney was like, "That's not a splash," because there's a river below him. It's just like
That's not a
it's
splash.
just like
It's a kersplat.
You know what that was? That was a hard squelch.
yeah.
It
That
was-
they took a potato sack full of meat.
Yes.
And dropped it on the ground.
Good
for
folly
this.
work, man.
Yes,
Like,
I was just
fuck.
gonna say golf clap to the
Yeah,
folly
golf
man.
clap to Folly. It's a Mick Foley.
Folly
It's
them
Foley.
sounds now.
So Mick Foley works.
Is it Foley?
It's Foley.
Well, I feel like a Foley now.
I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong.
Oh, I probably am.
I
Is it like
mean,
tomato potato?
It might
It's like
be.
tomato. I did enjoy though, because now we got Rambo going down and check the body, and this body is steaming.
Dude, the
Yeah,
body
it
is
is.
steaming.
Oh my gosh.
This 98.6 is showing in this cold fucking crisp New York, or sorry, not New York, crisp Washington air.
And all the blood, I guess, is what's letting off all this steam.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Well, it's all those little wounds, all these, like, well, not little, all these openings in his body are now escaping heat.
And when Brian Dennehy looks through the binoculars, dude, there is so much blood.
Yeah. You don't see it when Rambo's taking the
No.
gun and jacket off him, but when he's getting that jacket off. But when Dennehy looks down with binos, man, it shows that potato sack of meat. And now Galt's out of this movie.
And Rambo does
he was
try
a
to
huge
like
dick.
negotiate here. He comes out, he's like, "Hey, I don't want anybody else to get hurt. I'm not trying. I'm just leave me
yeah,
alone,
yeah.
please."
This
And
wasn't
then
my
they
fault.
shoot him.
Yeah, and I thought like
It looked like they clipped his head.
it must have been. I was thinking maybe ricochet, but it looks like a direct shot. And Stallone just got such a Cro-Magnon skull. It's like the bullet's just sticking out just above his eye.
But it doesn't even come.
bit me.
Maybe it could have been a
It
ricochet.
jumped up and bit me.
But the only there's no blood coming from it. Or is that why he puts it around his head?
Oh, that probably
It could
is.
be. 'Cause
That
I know
makes
they do hit him
sense.
in the arm too, because he has to go and like sew up his arm.
No, the
unless
arm,
that's from
the
falling
arm
the
is from the tree.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
arm is from the tree. You see it right after. I didn't
And
think
that looks
about that.
very
I'm not that
real.
I'm complaining about a bandana or whatever you want to call this.
Because he
the
didn't
little,
have it.
I just
until
thought like
after that.
why is that on besides you maybe looking
Sweat.
badass, sweat. But
I mean,
it's
it
the
is
bullet
cold, but
wound.
he's doing
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, and that's the idea of, or that's what a bandana is meant for. It's not meant to look cool. It's
Yeah.
meant to keep sweat
That's
out
just
of your
a
eyes.
beautiful byproduct.
Yeah, he's just yelling like, "I didn't do anything," and then you get
Open fire.
your typical cop reaction where everybody opens fire.
Even then, he's like, "Hold your fucking fire, goddammit."
He says that, and the one guy just keeps shooting. He's like, "Fucking stop!"
Yeah, and that's the one guy that we know that has
Yeah,
been
that's
in-
Home Alone.
Yeah.
We're calling him Home Alone from here on out.
Didn't he play the dad? No, that was somebody else.
No,
Never
that's Jonathan Hurt.
mind. Yeah.
He's in Chud, also with Daniel Stern.
Oh, you know what? I did recognize him from one thing that comes up on this podcast continuously. Beauty and the Beast. He's got a couple episodes
There's
of
our
that.
connection.
Yeah. I
are
was
we
going
gonna
through.
do
I was like,
Beauty and the
I
Beast?
know. Beauty and the Beast. We could talk about that.
Everybody who has been on this podcast, not guests, but all the people in these movies, has been on that fucking Beauty and the Beast show.
We got to do at least one episode of
Oh,
Beauty
we'll
and the
have
Beast.
to. We'll have
right.
to. So now we're coming up on Whitney's favorite part,
This,
though.
but this
Yes.
is where they find
Oh.
out now. They get the communique that
The
he's a Green
the
Beret.
teletypey.
Yeah. War hero, Congressional Medal of Honor, all that stuff. And Brian Dennehy is basically like, I don't give a fuck.
And
They listen to
Caruso's
impressive
like,
stuff.
We should stop.
Yeah.
Caruso is 100%
I knew
like,
there was something about that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. And then Mulkey, I think, is the one that's like, those Green
No,
Berets
it's
are
not
pretty
Mulkey.
tough.
It's this fucking chewing
Oh, some
tobacco
other guy.
Chris Penn
Okay.
knockoff.
yeah.
Like I was watching, I was like, "You wish you were Chris Penn, and so do we."
Oh,
But he's
that's
just like, he's
exactly who I
spitting-
thought it should have been.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's spitting his tobacco, and he's like, "I don't know. Heard them Green Berets are pretty tough." Ping.
Yeah.
This is
bring a
where Brian
spittoon?
Dennehy, though, is basically like,
Carry with
Brian
me
Dennehy's
everywhere.
like, we're not giving up on this because he killed my buddy.
Yeah.
Him and I have been friends since your mama was wiping your nose.
Which
I
why
swear
wouldn't
to
you
God,
say wipe your ass?
Thank
Ass.
you.
dude. No, high for right
High
here.
five.
Like I thought, I'm like, what? We're already going for the R.
I
Say
swear-
ass, you ass.
I swear his mouth said ass.
I don't know why you'd ADR'd after though.
They
It just
did
doesn't
a
make
lot
sense.
of ADR.
But yeah, I do
after
like
this.
he grabs him. He's like, "This is Galt. You know who he is. This is Art Galt. We were friends when your mom was still jerking you off.
Back when your mom was still putting her finger in your butt.
We were friends when your mom and dad were still happy, and your mom wasn't drinking herself to death on a nightly basis."
Oh, I would have loved to see if it was fucking open lines right there. All the like how they do now. Just
Were they just improv?
yeah,
we'll do
like
4 takes. Let's do 4 takes.
you just say the ones you think would work. Those are my.
I was friends with him before your mom was into anal.
I was friends with him before your mom quit the life.
I was friends with him when you were still at the thought of abortion.
Friends with
I
him
went
before
there.
your dad had track marks. He sold him the heroin.
So he makes like a scarecrow of himself, and they're like, look, there he is, just sitting on that log.
Just waiting for us.
And they send the dogs, and one of the dogs gets shot, and then the other one gets sent, and he like breaks its neck. I don't know.
All you see on subtitles is the word thumping.
Oh, you can hear the dog cry.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. But I'm saying like in the bottom, it didn't say squelch. It didn't say. It said thumping. So in my mind, he knocked this dog out and released him. The dog has got a great life in Portland right now.
I know.
He clearly took a gun from Galt, which is weird because he has like a M16 in his like cave or wherever he's hiding later on.
He'll get that later.
Galt had
He'll
like
get
a
that later.
rifle.
No, he'll get that later.
Okay.
When he's right now, he only has this. It looks like a hunting rifle.
Yeah.
It's got the scope
And
and,
it's just
everything.
got,
It's a
what, a
one
couple
shot.
bullets left?
Yeah, I mean this maybe holds 7 bullets like in the entire.
So there's
fucking
one
thing.
left.
So
And that's when they realize he's got the gun because they hear him
He
shoot.
shoots the dog
and you get
handler.
the Johnny's got a gun, and that starts playing.
Rambo's got a gun. What did that Rambo do? He's only got a bullet or 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, I have my moments. Just don't expect them. But I thought it was smart. Like, all right, who do you get rid of first, man? The fucking dog handler, in case he does have more dogs with him.
Well, and that dog handler is like, he had no right to kill my dogs. Go get him. And I'm like, well,
Dude,
I mean, you
60s
sent your
drove
dogs to
pinchers
kill him.
on him. Like, I'm trying. Nothing against those beautiful dogs. I'm trying to survive.
Yeah. They're known to be like
Yeah, he
Good
even
guard dogs.
the dog handler even says at one point when they're walking, and the guy's like, I don't like having those dogs behind me. He's like, well, you better run fast because they can run and eat or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they're there to kill this.
the
dude,
dogs
so.
should be in the front anyway. Like McCall can get in the back.
Get
Yeah.
back.
Well, he
there,
ends up
Home
saying
Alone.
that too, right? He's like,
Yeah.
you're fucking up my scent.
Yeah.
Oh, good. It was addressed then, because
Yeah.
that's what. Now you're following
100%.
this guy.
Yeah. So this is where he takes out all these sheriff's deputies here.
Oh, here's the
David
fun part.
Caruso. So he's like hiding. Not David Caruso. Rambo is hiding with like some bush camo. Like he's got leaves and shit on his back.
And
And we
honestly-
didn't see him at first.
No.
we rewound it to see him, and it's like, okay, yeah, you can see him there, but if you
when you're-
weren't looking for him,
yeah,
you
your
would not
first
see
watch
him.
when you're just casually viewing,
You
he
don't see
comes
him.
out of nowhere. It's dope.
Well, he's down. He's got the tree stuff on his back, and he's got the black hair.
He's
and
got
his
an
black
improvised
hair
ghillie
is-
suit.
Yeah. And his black hair is against the dark dirt and the base of the tree, so literally you can't see him. He jumps out and like stabs David Caruso in the asshole, it looks like.
That's
Yes,
dude.
It
I
looks
swear
like
to
it
God,
goes directly up his
I even said, it's
butthole.
like, oh, he punched him right in the butt. But I think it's one of these wooden stakes. We saw him sharpening wooden stakes. So if he either didn't do that, it was his big fucking knife that he stabbed
yeah,
him with.
but
think it
it's
was the
his
knife.
leg,
Yeah.
the outer
All
of
right.
his thigh that
It is
he's
his
got,
thigh, yeah.
because the spikes are coming up here.
we will use those spikes.
Yeah.
Well, he's hiding on top of like a tree stump,
Stallone spikes.
Still on spikes.
still wearing his ghillie suit. He's on top of this tree stump, and the guy obviously isn't looking up. So one of the other cops walks by. He jumps out of this fucking tree and just fucking
way he's
pummels this
jumping
dude.
off. He's like, I'm a squirrel.
I mean, he set this shit up real quick. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
he
talking
did.
about minutes, however long it took them to get from the outside of that ravine across whatever it was to
Yeah.
where he is. I don't know geography.
Yeah, the spikes that are coming up here right now, that's like the least believable part because I'm like, how
Yeah.
did you get that done so quickly? But I mean, Green Beret.
But he's
that's
the best
idea.
of the best of the best.
Exactly.
You know,
Of the
so-
best.
sir.
Like he's the best of the best, better than Eric Roberts.
He's best of the best too.
That's still Eric Roberts.
But he's better than the best of the best too.
This is better than best of the best too.
Yes, very much so.
So yeah, he does get one of the cops to shoot his friend.
Dude,
Like, he's
I
the
laughed
guy-
so
That
hard,
was
and not because it was
hilarious.
cheesy. It was just awesome. Like he pops up and then does like a quick little duck, like right out of the way, and this guy shoots his buddy.
Yeah,
It
he jumps
reminds
out
me-
right when the lightning is happening, and so the guy sees Rambo in the lightning and just fires, and he
And this
dodges
is when
it.
we have everybody not named Brian Dennehy or Rambo yell, "Well!"
Every time one of them gets taken out, every time. Well, over here, he's over here. Well,
Wow!
No, I'm Spartacus. no, I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus.
he grabs the last dude. He just grabs him, I guess. He jumps on him and takes him out, and he ends up tying him to a tree.
Dude, by his neck.
Yeah, by his neck.
Like he's not.
He's
hanging
hogtied to
him.
this tree.
Yeah, he's
His
not
arms
being-
are bound behind him, like around the
He's
tree
not being
behind
hanged,
him.
but like, fuck, dude.
Sorry, that's not the last. That is the last dude. That's not the next one. Was the tree? He makes like a whip trap where like this thing comes out with all the spikes on it.
And not Chris Penn takes it like, dude, you just gave him a
Straight
jungle
thighs.
vasectomy.
yeah,
Whew.
yeah.
No, I, think it was
luckily
just
it's
below.
cold out there, so that he probably didn't get a vasectomy because
If he had a boner, you got a vasectomy.
If it was hot, those balls would be hanging low 1,000%. But it was cold, so but they're
Either
like
way, man,
mid thigh.
fucking goddamn spikes to your gut.
Yeah.
No,
Ow.
it was thighs.
Oh, was it thighs?
Yeah,
thighs.
it was his upper thighs.
Okay. Well, you know what? I don't care.
Because he's
where I
trying
get it.
not to kill them.
It spikes in me.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah.
And you know those stitches were like 8 inches long, and maybe even.
Speaking of water sports, he peed on each one of these so he'd be septic. Right? As soon as he, look at what water sports. I'll show you water sports.
for your ass.
And then he uses the guy tied to the tree as like the trap for Dennehy. Dennehy comes running towards the guy, and he comes out and grabs him, puts the knife to his throat, and that's when he's like, "I could have killed them all. I could have killed you, but I didn't." And this is
Just
out,
let
out
it
in town.
go.
You're the law. Out here, I am.
Just let it go, man.
Let it go.
You
Let it
fucked
go.
And I
up.
love Dennehy, dude. Like, so Rambo ghosts out, right? He's ghosting. Dennehy just starts to cry because this is a guy that's never not been in control his whole
Yeah.
life. He's never been threatened in a small town.
Yeah.
He's never been threatened. So all of a sudden, he's like, holy shit, I just had this dude fuck up my entire crew and put a knife to my throat. Like, that's real.
You know what I should do? I should go harder.
I mean, yeah, that's
You
his,
know what
that's
I would
his
do?
reaction. But like his knee-jerk reaction, though, is like, I'm going to cry. I'm going to sit here and cry.
You know, it's funny. Oh,
I would have given up at this point. I'd be like, you know what? He's gone. He's
I
in the
would've
woods.
given up.
We're done.
The second he's going through that police station, I would have laid down. I'm like, oh, you already got me. Don't punch me. You
Just
already punched
leave
me.
this guy alone, and this whole thing's over. Whatever his name is, Troutman has the point here later. He's like, just let him go. Put out an APB. We'll pick him up somewhere else.
And that's what we're
It'll
getting
be
to
peaceful.
now. Now we're into Troutman.
I do want to say though, when he's like, just let it go, and he keeps saying it.
Yeah.
I found out. Again, I don't know how true it was, but I found out reading through the trivia stuff that George Miller was approached to direct this, which could have been awesome because of the success of Road Warrior. And Road Warrior is the one where you've got the dude in the mask. I can't think of his name right now. The big, huge dude. And he just keeps like, just let it go.
Walk away.
Or walk away. That's what it is.
Just walk
Because he
away.
kept saying, let it go. And all I could
it.
think of was that guy.
It's an M name, I think. Like, it's not Malachi, but
No, it's one of those goofy ass fucking Mad Max names.
yeah, like a Mortem Joe, but not
Yeah.
a Mortem Joe.
But yeah, that's all I could think of. But you're right, it is walk away. But same thing though. Just
Yeah.
walk away.
Walk away. Let it
Walk
go.
away.
Just walk away, man. Your boots are made for walking.
And that's what they should do. So after they're all coming out of the woods, and
Licking
there's
their
like
wounds.
this, yeah, there's this whole like rescue thing, this FEMA thing like set up for them.
And it's like the Army National Guard is now there.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
state
this is-
police, the National Guard.
Yeah, this is reserves. This is National Guard.
How did God even make a man like this?
And then Crenna comes in. God didn't make Rambo. I made
did.
Rambo.
Yeah, great line. I do have to point out this is maybe like the origin of fake news. I don't know, because like the news people are there. They're like, this guy was just murdering police officers and attempting to murder them and just saying all this shit. And he's
And
just
I'm
like,
definitely not drunk, by the way. This guy looks hammered to me. I don't know why.
it's fake news, folks. Rambo didn't try to kill anybody.
There's some good people out there.
That was a terrible Trump that I did.
There's some good
I've
people
done
in
better
films.
ones. That was a bad
You've
one.
definitely done better ones.
So is he. To be fair, Trump is
be
doing a really
fair.
bad impersonation of himself. Like, that guy is parroting who he is.
Yeah, he was way better in Home Alone. Or was it Home Alone
no,
2?
Home
he's,
Alone 2.
he's now parroting Alec Baldwin, parroting him. That's
Also,
what
Dunstan
Trump is
checks
doing.
in.
Is he in Dunstan
I
Checks
think he's in
I've never
Dunstan
seen
Checks
it.
In.
I know of it. It's got the orangutan.
Yeah, and it's got Jason, what's his fuck from Seinfeld,
Jason
Alexander.
George
Fuck.
Costanza.
Yeah.
Jason Alexander. Thank you.
and a monkey. And oh God,
Monkey's
I
not
almost
the
said
preferred
Tim Roth, not
nomenclature.
Tim Roth. The other
Curry.
great, yes, Tim Curry. I was like the other great character.
Wait, Tim
actor.
Curry's in Dunstan Checks In?
Yeah, that's where he plays. Isn't he the?
He's in Home Alone 2.
Oh, maybe I'm mixing him up. Maybe it's because
Holy
Macaulay
shit,
Culkin's
man.
a monkey. I don't
Trump
fucking
is
know.
definitely in Home Alone 2.
I know
Yeah.
he's in Home Alone too. Maybe I'm just mixing them up because they're
I think
both in
you
a
are.
hotel.
Yeah, I
Is
don't
he
think
even-
there's a Curryverse.
I don't
Trump
know.
is
They're-
even like, I was in that great movie.
they're
I
both-
can't do a Trump
look,
voice. I'm sorry.
Don't be. That's a good fucking thing, Whitney.
Macaulay Culkin's basically an orangutan. So
Oh, I can't sound like an asshole. I feel bad. I can't sound like a fucking douchebag that assaults women. That's not a very good Whitney impersonation, mind you. It's just in my head.
I'm like, can you impersonate me?
Can you impersonate me?
No.
No.
oh.
Can you do my cackle though?
1,000%.
All you have to say is button and 1,000%.
Buttons.
I saw Tito's button.
Get off my buttons.
Find the button.
So Crenna, I don't know if you guys know him from anything else besides this and Hot Shots Part 2. He
I
is
don't.
the rich fucking asshole in Summer Rental. Plays opposite John Candy.
Okay.
Yes, he
such a
is.
good.
Oh
So
my gosh.
This is all I thought about when they're talking about Rambo. Because if you remember, John Kenny and him get at each other because he got the last table and last lobster.
Yes.
So he's like, my lobster, my table. So I think of him coming in. He's like, this is my Rambo, my war machine, mine, mine, mine.
Mine.
Like he's still the spoiled brat from fucking Summer Rental, but he's a colonel now. My Rambo.
So the way he like carries himself while he's like talking to him, I'm like, why is he's talking like he's aware but not really aware? And it comes to the point where this is where he found out the day before shooting that he has this position, and so he's telling the director, you just need to feed me lines because
you're saying actor. I thought you were going character. Actor had
Actor
no
himself.
idea.
No idea where he was
for
in
the
this
first
film.
parts of his performance. They were having to feed him lines because he hadn't memorized the script yet. Later on,
because he had
does,
12
but-
hours.
I mean, he plays it interesting, but not noticeably.
No,
aloof.
not
Yeah,
like noticeably
he's-
bad or anything. He's great.
He's very neutral. He does because he didn't know which way he should be swaying. Like,
I
should
just
he
kind
be
of
all
took
on?
it as this guy's a fucking seasoned Green Beret, and his emotions are not what we have.
Yeah, and
Because
all,
he's a great actor.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
all I know
My
him from
Rambo.
are literally this, Rambo 2, Rambo 3, and Hot Shots Part D.
where he's playing Richard
The
Crenna.
same character. I mean, the character is Colonel Denton Walter, but like it's the same character. He's
Troutman.
parodying Troutman, but in Part D.
Oh yeah, okay. He might as well be Troutman in Part
Yeah,
D.
and that's why I looked up the name because I knew he was that character. I was like, oh, please tell me they just made it Troutman.
Yeah.
But they didn't. It's a different name. But he's the same character.
Oh, Stallone went. No, you can't have the rights to that name. It's my name. It's my character's name.
I own that name, and you can't make fun of me.
I am the law. Not yet.
Oh, here I am.
So yeah, he's like, I didn't come here to rescue you from Rambo from you. I came here to rescue you from Rambo.
And then you had mentioned this earlier. He has the idea. He's like, dude, create a little slip in the perimeter. Let him get through. We'll pick him up in Seattle, working at a fucking car wash where no one's around. Hey, sounds good to me.
And he won't still be defensive, so
I
we'll
got
be
a
able to take
fucking
him
deputy
in.
with a dick full of spikes right now. Let's let him slip through.
He also does mention, he's like, by the way, just so you guys know, he definitely fucked up by letting you live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like strictly speaking, because I mean he lists off what he's a specialist at, and he even says like, man, he will win by attrition.
Yeah.
You will not outwill this guy.
Yeah. So we get Stallone in the woods now. They're
Hunted
'cause
a wild boar.
The guy mentions he would eat things that would make a billy goat puke, but then he eats this wild boar, which is probably delicious.
Dude, he's got this leg of hog, slow
Yeah, he
roasting in
does.
the fire, just slicing pieces off like a gyro, and I'm like, it looks delicious.
I wanted some.
I do want to mention one other line that because every line that Crenna has in this scene is just like how badass Rambo is.
Yeah.
And one of them, Dennehy's like, what, you don't think these 200 men could take him out? And he's like, 200 men? You better bring a lot of body bags or a big supply of body bags.
and then walks out.
He is terrific at selling. Like, you guys don't know how fucked you are.
Nope.
You think you've got just a crazy vet in there. No. Oh, no.
I mean, you know he's a Green Beret, but you don't know. You don't know.
Like, I just don't understand how Dennehy just keeps going at it. Like, dude.
He just.
This is who
he can't
Seagal
admit-
wants to be in Under
Yes.
Siege.
He can't
No,
admit
in
failure.
any movie. This is who Steven Seagal wants to be, full stop.
Except for he's not from Japan.
Oh, well,
So Steven Seagal wants to be Dolph Lundgren in Showdown in Little Tokyo. That's what we're saying.
ooh, I kind of want that too.
But they're trying to call him on the radio that he took from Galt, and they're like, "Oh, we can get a radio fix." I guess that must be a thing.
Yeah, it's very early. There's a word for it. Triangulation. It's like you have a little.
It's radars.
Yeah,
And all
yeah.
they could
Or
tell,
sonar.
all they could tell when they got him was like he's northwest.
They
So
got to
it's
fix
not
on
like
a position.
Yeah, but they're trying to call him and he won't answer, obviously, because he's not an idiot. He just has the radio to keep tabs on everybody. But then when Troutman calls, he's asleep and
He
he
even
has
says his call signs like Raven.
Yeah, he's
Raven.
like Convoy Bravo or whatever to Raven, and
Uh-huh.
he does end up answering, and but he lists off all of his people. He's like, I'm looking for all these guys, the guys that were in her squadron.
And Crenna's
And
like,
he
didn't you
names them
didn't you
all.
go find your buddy? And he's like, and that's when the line I said earlier about the cancer.
Yeah,
And
but
man,
he,
you're
the
just starting
first
to feel
thing he
for this
says,
guy.
The first thing he says is
first
what?
thing he says when he comes back, he's just like, "They're all gone, sir."
Yeah.
Which is just, it's brutal, man. Like,
Yeah, this movie-
Stallone is really good in this.
He is fantastic in this, and he's tugging at heartstrings, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then Crenna is trying to get him to be
I'm
like,
just hungry now.
just come out. I am.
A little crema fresh.
A little crema fresco. He was just like, come on, we'll get it worked out. Just come meet me. I'll take you back to Bragg. And he's like, they drew first blood.
Yeah, I can't
And-
come in, sir.
And
I
that
tried
was it.
calling you,
was
but no one knew where you were. Like,
Yeah.
we're showing that Rambo has done things to try and help his situation to no avail.
Because, I mean, you think they don't take care of soldiers after they come back now.
Holy shit.
Fucking 1982, like right after this takes place in 81, I guess, because they said it, like, I don't think they say it, but it's December 81. It's
Okay.
right before it came out. And it's like,
I was 1 month old.
they time everything out, by the way, with this, at least the next two sequels. I don't know if after that, where it actually takes place in real time. Like,
Yeah.
Rambo 2 takes place 3 years after.
Rambo 3 is him training Al Qaeda, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Okay, good.
But Rambo 2 takes place 3 years after Rambo 1 or First Blood and et cetera, et cetera. But
where I was
he's
going,
telling him,
sorry.
well, he says something to him about like, well, now you're harming friendly civilians. He's like, there are no friendly civilians, sir.
It's showing some cracks. It's showing some cracks in his psyche, which
It
you
is,
know,
a little bit.
he should have them. He's been through some shit.
I
He's
was
had
just
some
saying-
shit thrown on him.
I was just saying at like 53 minutes, or what was it, 55
Yeah,
minutes?
about 53
You get
minutes.
the- you get
He's-
titular
It was-
title?
Yeah.
You get first blood.
Yep.
They drew first blood, sir.
He said it.
Yeah.
He
We
does-
always
he-
pause right then.
He does refer to Dennehy as that king. He's like, all I wanted was a hot meal, and that king shit cop wouldn't leave me alone.
Dude, king
and Dennehy's
shit
standing
cop.
there like,
So this is he's hangry.
yeah.
Give this guy a fucking Snickers, man.
Well, I mean, he did just eat some
Seriously.
delicious wild boar.
All right, he's not hangry anymore. Now he's just angry.
Have you ever had wild boar?
Yeah, it's gamey, but it's good.
If
It's
it's in
gamey
a
as fuck.
stew, it's good.
Ooh, I'll tell you how to make it. It's a little chorizo.
Ooh, do you
I've had
put
it in
some milk
sausage.
powder in that shit?
Javelina chorizo is delightful. That was an evil laugh.
I'm hungry. All I've had is
Careful,
table bacon.
Derek. She's gonna set up spike strips around your house.
I've only had table bacon, so I'm like,
It's just such a normal fucking sentence to say.
In this
I had
house,
some table bacon.
it is.
Well, hey, I'm not faulting it. I'm mad that I don't have table bacon in my house.
So these cops are like moving in on his like where they know his position to be roughly.
Oh, no, not cops now, the National Guard, yeah.
And they're very jumpy. Like you can in the subtitles you get a lot of it. You can hear some of it. But they're like, "What was that? Did you guys hear? He's over here. He's over here." Like
The body acting, because he shoots a couple shots, because now he's got another gun with more bullets in it, probably
Yeah.
from one of these people that was screaming Will.
Yes,
And
100%.
all of them are like varying degrees of laying down, covering their ears and eyes. And the guy in charge is like, hey, I'll insert name. Hey, Bob, get up there. He's like, no, I didn't come here to get shot. Like,
I
by
do
the way-
this every weekend a month, or
yeah.
1 weekend a month.
One weekend a month. You go get shot.
one of the guardsmen after they try to shoot him and he shoots back. I think it was the lead guardsman. I just was looking through the guardsman credits.
Yeah.
One of them is Bruce Greenwood, who
Don't know
you
the
would probably
name.
know. You would recognize his face, but
Did
you
you
would
ever
probably
watch-
know from the. Did you watch any of the new Star Treks? The J.J. Abrams Star Treks?
Yes, I did.
He was Christopher Pike in Star Trek and Into Darkness.
The older
the
fella?
the one that Kirk is taking over for. And then he's
I know
also
exactly what you're fucking talking
what she'll
about.
know him from is the Resident.
The
He was-
Resident.
he's like the lead.
He's
know
the
him,
lead
Resident.
surgeon.
I don't know Resident.
He's got like MS and everything.
Yeah,
Like, the
he's
whole thing.
kind of like American version of Sam Neill.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's and I was looking through the credits and most of the guardsmen don't have IMDb pictures and he was under like guardsman number 5, so I don't
Old
even think
Man
he was
Pike.
the lead one. But yeah, he's Christopher
yeah.
Pike.
I don't think he
He's in
even had
bunch
a
of shit.
line. Because
I
I
don't
was
know.
looking at all the ones that talked.
I did see in a piece of trivia, like they're all listed as guardsman so and so. The one that was named, which is like something Colonel Clinton or something, is
Because
the
he
only one that
speaks
has
to-
a name.
Not
Every
Colonel,
other one that
just Clinton.
they do say the names of all of them, but they're all the actors'
Well,
names.
it's because you see him, the one you're talking about now, the head fucking weekend warrior talks
Yeah.
to Dennehy, and Dennehy's like, dude, get the fuck out there and go find him. He's like, no, I have to be at the drugstore tomorrow. And they like speak to each other by name. So this is a townie.
Yeah.
That's also
Yeah.
on, the army is on call.
yeah.
Well,
And there's-
National Guard is just 1 weekend a month.
Unless there is a madman in your forest.
And then you're put on.
And then this kid who's out hunting with his parents or his dad or whatever.
I don't think they're
stumbles
hunting.
on him.
I think they're hunting Rambo.
Okay.
No.
Well, they're
I don't
dressed
think.
like
I
they're.
think they're just hunting.
No, because the
he has
kid
no
says,
idea
Dad,
what's
he's
going-
over here. He went that way.
Yeah, that's
Like,
fair.
oh.
Real, I thought the same thing at first. I was like, this kid's hunting.
Yeah, and the dad's like, "Oh, we'll get him," and like
Yep.
tell him he's over here. So they're probably helping.
I think
also.
we're bounty hunting.
but I think they.
vigilante.
Okay,
You know,
I got you.
Funny thing, I just I'll just look at people randomly on IMDb. This kid, his one and only credit is this role.
really?
So apparently he sucked.
I love shit like this. Like he just hated it. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like a grueling fucking set, dude. He's like, he watched Stallone
was
break his
somebody's
rib. He's
son.
like, nope, I'm done.
Well, no. So another little fun fact about this movie is it actually created a bunch of
Full
jobs.
fun facts tonight.
Well, I had more time because we watched it last night. It created a bunch of jobs in this town. Hope Vancouver or whatever it was.
fantastic.
Because there was a mill there that had recently shut down, and so a bunch of people were out of work. So
Ooh,
they
is
all
this the
worked
area
as
that we found the poncho.
Probably.
well, probably, yeah.
Probably.
They all worked as extras or help or whatever. So this kid's probably just the son of one of the
Somebody on
Johnnies.
set's like, that's actually not your poncho. It's like a Happy Gilmore. I believe that jacket belongs to Mr. Stallone. Excuse me, I believe that potato sack belongs to Mr. Gilmore.
So he hides in the mine.
Which is a great place, by the way.
I mean, it seems
You're
like a good
protected
idea.
from the weather, and if you get in deep enough,
Well,
you're
he wasn't
smoking.
hiding in the
Great
mine
idea.
before. When he took the boar and stuff, it looked like it was like a structure, not just
No,
the
it's
mine.
in the mine.
Because up above it, there's like a building. It's
No,
like,
there
it's
is,
like
No,
a-
there is a
it's just
structure
the mine.
outside of the mine. I think Derek's right on this one.
It might be the
really
same
doesn't
spot.
matter. It's
We
the
can go
same-
watch it again.
He's
All right,
hiding-
Pause.
He's hiding underneath in the like under part of the structure when he gets the boar, and he like sets up that like canister and stuff.
I'll
to
tell
be
you
like
what's not a good
warning.
idea.
Which didn't come to anything.
A fireplace in a mine.
No, it's actually a good idea
No,
because
that's how you
if
crack
you're
rocks. That's how you crack rocks and get
Crack
a cave
rocks.
in.
you just have to keep the fire like when you're hiding, you don't want your fire close to the entrance because smoke will just immediately go out.
And
if
light.
you go deep in, the smoke will eventually dissipate through things.
But you could also heat up those rocks and crack them and cause a collapse. Also, it doesn't
Also,
matter.
it
at
doesn't
all.
cause because you know what does cause a collapse? This dude blasting Rambo with a rocket launcher.
Yes,
You
it
said him
does.
with the kerosene doesn't amount to anything?
No. At the beginning, after he hunts the boar, he sets up like a canister outside of the place with like a stick underneath it, like as a
Yeah.
warning trap thing. So like if someone walks through,
that came
it'll
out.
knock
I didn't
the
even see
can
that.
over.
Oh, yeah.
How did
That
you
doesn't
not
come
watch
to
that
anything.
30-second like him stop and lift it up and put it? I was like,
I must have fucking. Oh, you know what? I pee a lot.
But he does
do.
end up finding the kerosene inside the mine. But they blast this mine, and he waits till the last second to run away. Which, I mean, it's to let them believe that he's got blasted.
But
Yeah.
if you remember, it goes
I
in
don't.
and then left, like a hard left.
So you're saying
and so
back
it goes straight,
and to the left.
and he goes left.
Back and to the left. It's like
But-
a JFK assassination.
Here's another fun fact.
Ooh.
So the next scene is coming up. He strikes the match to be seen. There's zero light in this cave.
yeah, they were
that
actually
they're in.
shooting with no lights.
There's
That's very cool.
If you look carefully, it's 2 matches that he strikes to cause all the light,
To
and
make
that's
enough light
he's
to shoot.
holding
Because they
2.
probably tried it with one. It's like, we can't.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't register.
So he was like, give him 2 matches.
I liked him turning his little knife and poncho into a
Yes!
torch. That
yeah,
was great.
he tears the things off and makes the torch, and then he looks around and
Dips them
finds
in
the.
the
And fuck this next part though. With not only do you have rats, like rats is one thing.
Oh my God.
Rats that are willing to jump on you and attack you. You are in
Yeah.
the rat's lair, and
because
this
he's
is hell.
like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna ignore you. But how many rats do you think were actually harmed
These
in this?
rats
'Cause
were-
A
there's
lot.
not fake.
Another side fact I read was that somebody who was there, like an animal handler person for the Canadian Film Board or
They
whatever.
were feeder rats. They were gonna
Uh,
die anyway.
No, they were like this person like turned in an official complaint about like rats that were like thrown against walls and like
Oh.
beaten and stuff.
Do you
It was
think
like,
this is? Do you think this was not the catalyst, but maybe part of the end of no animals were harmed in this?
No, that is from Milo and Otis.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that.
I'm
That's
sure-
what that's
we
from.
talked about that before. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's an early thing though too. It's just a constant thing of like animals and
It's
But
a
I mean,
progression
fuck
of
these
keeping
rats. They
animals
attacked
safe.
him.
Also,
Yeah.
fuck rats.
he had to go to the
They were gonna
ER.
be fed to a
he had to
boa
go to the
anyway.
ER to get like tetanus shots and stuff because these rats were really scratching and biting him.
Yeah.
Fuck those things.
Yeah. Any rat enthusiasts out there? Fuck you.
He makes his knife into a little torch, which is cool because he's so fucking
Well,
improvisational.
he's John J. Rambo.
Yeah, and he
John
does
J.
find a
Rambo.
canister because she commented on like how is this like thing still because after he goes through the water and he takes another strip off and wraps around his torch and it gets brighter. She's like, how is that not wet? And I was like, well, he already soaked it in oil, so
Yeah.
I didn't realize he had soaked a lot of strips in oil and just put them in his little fucking cargo pocket.
This is where we get that line too, though, where Crenna says, "Oh yeah, because Dennehy mentions he was a vagrant and he was causing trouble or whatever," and Crenna's like, "Oh, I could just see it on his tombstone now.
Oh, because these two are at the bar now. Yeah.
Here lies John J. Rambo, Green Beret, Congressional Medal of Honor, war hero, killed for vagrancy in Jerkwater, USA."
Jerkwater, USA. Fuck yeah, dude. Crenna delivers that line
yes,
beautifully.
he does.
Yeah.
And
He's
this is
being-
when he knows his role.
I was gonna say if he's being fed these offline, just off stage, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I think this is when he actually knows his role because
Gotcha.
like if you look at they do a great job of progressing light because it is I want to say it's fall, so shit's wet and shit's dark.
Yeah.
And again, we're in Canada. So
This bar scene though, like,
Great bar scene.
Dennehy's like, I have regrets, and you're like, oh, he regrets going after Rambo, and he regrets like treating him like shit. No, he feels cheated out of his chance to kill this guy.
Yeah, that's
it's his
bullshit.
sentiment.
Dennehy can
Like,
go
fuck,
suck
man.
my
And Troutman even
pinky
says
toe.
at this point, he's like, that doesn't really go well with that badge.
Yeah.
Like, you piece of shit.
Yep.
Also, Troutman definitely has his suspicions that Rambo is still alive. Like, he's looking at the explosion scene, and he's like,
Yeah, he
He's
sees
not letting
smoke
on. He's
coming
not
out
letting
of
on, but
one side of the thing, which is clearly the little fire,
Yeah.
where it finds a little vent, so it's not cracking shit.
hey, there was a collapse.
yeah, those are happening at the same time. They go to that bar, which looks like an insane little honky tonk. I don't know what
But he's
this
got a
place is.
snifter of cognac.
This place looks like a fucking adult Chuck E. Cheese. Like the lights in the background and
I'm
shit.
in it.
Like I'm waiting for, like, speaking of rats.
I
giant
got like
rat comes-
50 tickets. What does that get me?
It's what Dave and Buster's, I don't know if you guys remember this, but when Dave and Buster's first came out, it was adults only.
I've
It was
never
not
stepped foot into Dave and Buster's.
Okay.
But this
When-
has like carnival lights and shit. Like I don't know, man. It's like I mean, it's not quite a Dave and Buster's. I don't think there's arcade machines, but it does. It looks like Circus from fucking Fear and Loathing.
Yeah.
It's just like this.
Oh, this is what the whole of
divey-
America would do if the Nazis won the war.
Oh.
I'm paraphrasing the line, but
Yeah.
it's somewhere in there.
This is a very divey carnival bar. I don't know what the fuck this is.
I wouldn't mind having a drink there.
You have an actual band playing, but then there's an animatronic rat in the front singing the song.
Man, if this ever makes any amount of money where we can do it, we're going to tour bar sets.
Oh my gosh, can
Just
we?
do a tour of all the bar sets.
Phantom of
for
the Mall
movies.
is my number one.
Can I do a little segue in here?
No,
Someone
we
did,
don't do those.
Oh, do it, but we'll cut it.
somebody did reach out to us and wants Bad Movies Worst People to come be at the bar.
Okay.
And it was
Yes.
actually Eric from Dillinger.
From Dillinger, okay.
And he wants us to like
Well, also, there's 3 Erics at Dillinger.
oh
The the owner
owner,
The owner
one. Okay.
here.
with the beard and stuff.
wants
Yeah,
us
I can't
to
think of his
come
last name.
watch, and we don't have to record there, but we can like do a whole movie night there and be there and like
I think it'd be cool to watch the movie there and then maybe come
And then we can
here,
come back and record.
And that
Yeah.
way anybody that was there will feel immersive in the episode.
and
Yeah.
he did suggest the movie that he wants to do.
Yeah, we're gonna do Cool World, which I do
Ooh,
have
Brad
on Blu-ray.
Pitt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the voice of Kim Basinger?
Yeah, and Kim Basinger eventually. She's in it.
Eventually.
But
Spoilers
I-
for Cool World.
Yeah, I have it on Blu-ray from Shout Factory. It's actually part of their Shout Select, which is like their classy ones. I'm like,
Okay.
well, I don't know if it belongs there,
So-
but hey, I'll take it.
Yeah.
we just need to collaborate and pick a day where
Oh, I'm
we
in. Yeah.
Yeah, do a
this.
bad movie night. So if anybody's interested, keep an eye out, social media and stuff. We will be letting you know. It'll be coming up.
Oh, well, something cooking.
But that'll be great, and that'll be fun. It'll be something for us
Yeah.
to go out and see the movie with people. You know, we'll be working with another local company, which is fun.
Guess I can
so-
put pants on another day of the week.
So yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Come put some faces to these beautiful names.
Now we can talk about this awesome fucking movie.
Yeah, speaking of talking to people at bars, there was a line where Dennehy is like, "Well, if he would have come out, would you have given him a big sloppy kiss, or would you have
Shot him
blown
on-
his brains out?"
Yeah, that's what it is.
I wouldn't
and
know
he's like-
until I was in his face.
Which, hey, you know what? Respect. At least he's doing process.
Yeah.
And Stallone, so he goes through this cave and he escapes by making this big torch, and the torch the fire sucks toward an exit, so he knows that there's air flowing from somewhere.
Not the first cave he's been in, man.
Yeah, and also another fun fact I saw in multiple places, so I think this is true. Stallone has severe claustrophobia,
Ooh.
which a Green Beret wouldn't because they train that out of you.
Yeah.
But so this
But
had to
the
be rough
actor-
for him because there's a lot of going through caves. I mean, this is a long sequence of going through caves, which a lot of times I would complain about a dragged out sequence, but it was fun going through caves. Like it was like he's in the water and there's the rats and he's climbing through stuff.
Nothing
and he's,
felt
you know,
So
dragged
that
in this
terror
movie.
in his face is real, just like Rust in Pictures, Die Hard. Why am I?
Alan Rickman?
Oh, Alan
Thank
Rickman,
you.
yeah.
Oh, he's
Alan
Fear of
Rickman.
Heights. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
and when they drop him, tell.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard this story, but when they obviously it's a green screen situation,
Uh-huh.
But
but
he still
he's
has
still
to
up
drop.
on like a 30-foot thing.
Oh, did they count? Like they said, we'll do it in the count of 5, and they did it on 3 or
Yeah,
something?
like
Count to
that.
3, and
Yeah.
they did it on
They're
one.
like
Yeah.
one shove.
Yeah.
So he's looking fierce.
That
face
fear
you
is
see,
real.
Oh, that's terrific. It's torture,
Yeah.
but it's terrific.
Yes. So this
Restropata.
going through the caves thing, and you see like terror in Stallone's eyes, like
Yeah.
that's real. Like I'm in a confined space and I'm not happy, and it just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Water's getting higher And then I made a comment like, how many times do you think he hit his head on these fucking
Oh yeah, he's in some real small
stalactites?
spots.
Speaking of Die Hard, I laughed when he jumped on this, to myself, jumped on this army vehicle
else
and then
would you
took
laugh to?
over. My cat. Because I
okay.
thought of Die Hard like, ho, 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 now I got a truck.
Well, no, it is ho ho ho. Now I've got a gun because he gets an M60.
He's got an M60 running through Christmas Town in Jerkwater, USA.
And he jumps on this truck after he gets out and takes it, and he jumps in the cab of the truck, and this dude is looking at him.
He's like, "Oh
I just
shit!"
love it because he tells him, "Don't look at me." Sorry, don't look at me. Look at the road. That's how accidents happen.
But even when he first jumps in, he puts a knife to this guy's throat and goes, drive. He's driving. He's driving. So, continue to drive. I don't know. Like, it's just such a goofy little thing. Like,
It is.
Drive. Oh, okay,
And then
sir. I am driving, mister.
and then he's like trying to push him out. He's like, I didn't do anything. He's like, yeah, get the fuck out.
Yeah, he's like, I have nothing against you, and he's like, I know. That's why I'm not killing you. I'm just pushing you out of this vehicle.
You're lucky you're not getting a spike strip to your dick.
and
Ask the other guys.
One of the state police picks up this army or this National Guard guy, and that's how they find out Rambo's still on the loose.
And I love Dennehy's delivery of the line to Crenna. Hey, they found Rambo's body. Yeah, actually, he's still alive. He stole his army truck. Like, they didn't just find his body. He's alive, motherfucker.
It is his body, but
his body.
It's a functioning body.
Hey, we found his body. It's beating the shit out of people right now.
And this at this point, Rambo is like, man, fuck these people, right? This is moving right into the third act of the movie. This is the
He's unhinged now.
Yeah, and so somehow, I mean, the cops get him, and at first I was like, how'd they find him? But we did drive through a long forest road in Washington when we were up there, and there is no on or off at any point. So I mean,
Sure,
like, these
it's
cops
one
are like,
long
look,
road.
he was on this road, he's down this road.
But
somewhere.
They've got the
my thing
APB
was-
for a military vehicle.
But there are
it is.
two trucks.
There were two trucks, and they both went this way, and then
This way, they
he went-
fork.
yeah, they fork. They both split.
Oh, the cops were on the radio like, hey, you going left or right? We're going left. Ah, he went right.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's
I don't
fair.
know.
Also, one of the cops did pick up this dude, so that dude's like, "That's the truck I was
Yeah.
driving, maybe." But so they chase him through, and they have like this police blockade on this bridge, and there were no explosions, which is a little disappointing. But he just drives his truck right. They're like, "Get the fuck out
There's
of the way!"
some mayhem.
And this is another one of those things they used to do. They don't do it anymore. Where there's a little ramp because this truck jumps this car. I was like, "Whoo,
It's
that is
like-
a stunt."
It's like Speed 1, if you haven't seen it recently, when there's that like gap in the highway and like just floor it. Out of nowhere, this fucking bus elevates with no ramp. It's just like, it's like it just.
I'm sorry,
springs-
what is that?
It springs over this fucking gap, and that's kind of what you're saying here. Like this car has this vehicle has magical powers.
Yeah, and this is my absolute favorite part of the movie, and it keeps going. He drives this truck through this gas station, like over the pumps. He gets out and sets it on fire. And this shit goes up. I mean, the truck goes up. The gas
Great
pumps go up.
explosions.
Yes. This
Yes.
gas station explodes. And then eventually when we cut back, the cars are exploding around the gas station. And then all through the rest of this movie, there's just a series of explosions because more things are catching on fire
This
and
has got to be a
exploding.
good majority of the budget, and I'll
It
tell you
is
what,
fantastic.
well spent.
At the
Yes!
beginning of the behind the scenes thing, and they didn't go back and cover it. They just had like, when they're doing like the title card and stuff, the director or somebody in there is like, so how big do you want this explosion? Or what do you want to happen to the gas station? Blow the shit out of it.
Blow-
and then he's
direct
like,
quote,
What do you
blow the
mean?
shit
Yeah,
out of
and he's
it.
like, what do you mean blow the shit out of it? And he's like, I mean blow the shit out of
Oh
it.
God, and
So-
they did.
This is the place where there's really not much product placement in this, except you have that scene where he's driving down.
As Derek said, it's all signs that are actually in the town.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it's a sound. Except now we get a look at the billboard.
So the billboard is great, but the billboard in front of it makes it better. Did you notice this?
I only
So
saw the
it's a
Santa.
picture of the Christmas Santa.
Yes.
And it says, have a Coke and a smile. And then the sign in front of it just says drugs. Because the drugstore.
Oh,
Like, I
yes!
paused it. I laughed. I rewound it. I paused it. It was so fucking great. It's like,
I missed
have
the
a Coke and a
drugs.
smile. Drugs. I'm very certain.
Can we screenshot that
I'm gonna
and
make
make
a
a shirt?
T-shirt out of this.
Yes!
Like I talked to Bloop last night, and I was like, if we just screenshot it, can we make that a shirt? And he's like, I can absolutely make that a shirt.
Have some Coke and a smile, drugs.
Have a Coke and a smile. Drugs.
So yeah, he turns
love it.
He turns Jerkwater into USA into Boomtown, USA, and then Dennehy is like evacuates the
Boomtown.
streets.
This is how you
very
know it's a
old
small
school-
town.
Yeah.
He's got a PA system through the
Yeah.
town.
He's like a principal. Class has been canceled.
I love it because he's like,
There's a
everybody
Rambo
get
on
off
alert."
the fucking streets. You're going to die. And these people are running and cars are speeding, and you hear one of the guys in the truck driving by, and somebody runs across the street. He's like, "Get out of the fucking way!"
He means business.
He's got a fucking bell-fed M60.
And we get like an iconic shot. This is when he takes the M60 out of the truck and he takes the bullets. So after this, he wraps the
Belt-fed.
bullets around him.
Yeah.
He's got the 2 around his chest and then around his waist. But he walks into this alleyway, and it's that low angle, like brightly lit shot of like, and it's his shadow on the wall of like the hair and the bandana and the gun.
This
and you
is
can
where
see
it's
it
super
all.
schlocky.
Yes.
Like it's been kind of a good action drama. And I'm not bad mouthing the movie at any part, but this third act is much more. I guess I don't say unhinged.
Yeah,
but it's a little bit.
Well, this is where he's like,
more,
"Fuck this," because at this point, up until this point, he's been doing nothing but try to escape this town.
Yeah. Now he wants to punish you.
Yeah, and he's like, "You know what? Fuck you guys then."
No, this is the part where I'm like, I am 100% invested in this movie, and I am loving every fucking second.
You're rooting
of
for
this.
Rambo.
Yes,
Yeah.
1,000%.
Which is why people got so upset when he died, because that everybody at that point is rooting for him because they made him a sympathetic character.
There are not a lot of movies where the hero dies.
Oh, real quick, the truck chase is where I think he actually killed somebody, because one of the police cars does chase him.
Yep.
And he's like, they're doing like pit maneuvers and stuff, and they get in front of him, which is a terrible idea. These trucks are made to ram things off the road. Look at that bumper.
I don't understand how they got in front of him, like how they let him get behind you.
Why
rather.
would you do that?
Yeah.
I even said that. I was like, oh, that's the thing I'm going to do. Get in front of a vehicle that is meant to ram
If
you.
I check my rearview mirror and there's Stallone in this thing, I'm gassing it and I'm out of here, Bal.
Yeah.
Like I am not trying to stop you anymore.
The only way you
I
do
am
that
good,
and survive
gone.
is if you just hard slam your brakes right there. E-brake, make sure your belts are on, and you just fucking hold
He's still going to
tight.
hit you. And
He's
he's going to
gonna
hit you off the
obliterate
road.
your car.
But you're in the front of it. It's fine.
I like
That's
my
what's-
idea, man. Just run away. Run away. Run away.
But if you're trying to stop somebody, just like hard brake, e-brake, fucking all the stops.
So when he's coming around this corner, he sees this other car, and I thought it was another car on the road at first, and he was like, "Oh no, a civilian," because the police car is next to him. So I thought he was going to check these cops to make him go around the civilian. But when he checks these cops, and then it shows, no,
just
this car is
a
parked on the
bandit
side of
car.
the road, like it had broken down or whatever. These cops ram into
Some
this
yuppie
car, and it
hikers.
explodes.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I guess I have to watch it
That
again.
could have been a kill.
But the car that's parked explodes. I don't think the police car explodes. It does fly through the air, so maybe
If they're not dead, they're fucked. Like,
Yeah,
and
they're
that's the
fucked
one
up.
where
and
it
they got
has
some
multiple
hospital bills
people
the
in
rest of
it.
their life.
Yeah.
This is the car that I saw. The front
This is the
passenger
cop car
and the
full of
back passenger.
mannequins.
Yeah, so there's 2 hands shooting guns, and I mean, like, they're moving. So there's obviously live people in this car, not mannequins.
Well, it could be a Weekend at Bernie's situation.
sorry,
Sorry.
They
Weekend
are-
at Bernie's 2.
two.
They play that music and he gets shooting. Like you see what happens. He does that dance that you're doing there. Bernie will start walking if you play reggae. You don't know what
remember
happens
this.
if you play gangster rap.
Why does he do that? I forget. Wait,
number
stop.
2
We're gonna talk
definitely
about it a
involves
different time.
voodoo.
It's a botched voodoo spell.
Yeah.
We're gonna
They ask
do
for
it
a live
another time.
chicken, they get KFC. Go on.
It's okay.
So yes, this is maybe body count. Maybe.
But the popular thing,
But they were chasing him first.
the popular
They drew
thing
first
is that
blood.
Rambo doesn't kill anybody in this. So I
Yes.
mean, maybe they're implying that nobody died in that crash.
Oh my God, is he Batman?
No, my dad is Batman.
Oh man, how you do? Okay, I don't kill. I don't kill.
I don't kill, Commissioner Gordon.
I'm trying to be Batman. Rambo.
The Joker's back.
I don't kill.
What the fuck was that?
That was me doing Batman voice as Sylvester Stallone.
You're doing Christian Bale doing Stallone.
Yeah. Or Stallone doing Christian Bale. I don't know. But so the Troutman tells Teasel, like, hey, man, if you go after him, you're going to die. And
Such a
Teasel's just
Teasel.
like, everybody dies.
Not every man truly lives.
So, yeah, in the background of this,
Oh, you've
everything
never seen
keeps
Braveheart,
exploding.
damn it. Fuck.
Everything keeps exploding. Dennehy goes to the roof of the police station. Rambo is just shooting out the Transformers, not the ones from the movie.
Not, hey, yo, these my friends. What are you doing shooting all these Transformers for?
Yeah,
Why are you
he
shooting
made
out
it in.
Transformers, bro? I just gotta get rid of them. I don't like these fucking robots.
I was just gonna say,
from here.
make a way.
Sandwich Wiki, Rambo keeps shooting us.
Autobots, roll out. Form of truck. Oh no, he's inside me.
Ooh.
He does blow up this gun shop, which seems unnecessary. I guess it's
I
meant to
didn't
be
know
a
when he was
distraction.
doing it first. I was like, is he looking for, I know what it is, 7.62 millimeter. Like, is he looking for rounds for this fucking gun? And he starts throwing things on the floor.
Yeah,
like, is he
Derek
throwing
wasn't
a
sure at
tantrum?
first.
No, yeah, at
Yeah.
first, yeah, he's pulling down crates or he's pulling down boxes of ammo and
And
looking
then
at him.
just
And then he
shelves.
pulls the whole shelf. and I
Then
was
when
like,
you
what?
see the black powder, he starts
You're like,
oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
see
throwing
what you're
canisters
doing.
of like fuel and stuff over there, and then he grabs
Yeah.
the black powder and he makes a big bomb and he basically blows up the whole thing. He does shoot
he
the black
sees
powder.
Dennehy, by the way.
He does shoot the black powder with the gun, which I think has been disproven multiple times. That's not
Sure.
how that works, but it's fine. That's why it had to be disproven because of
exactly-
movies
I was
like
gonna
this.
say it's the '80s. This is like one of the early times you've seen someone use a ricochet to spark black powder.
Yeah, and I think that's what he did. He created the explosion, and then he hid near the police station, and he was watching. And so when Dennehy peeks over the top of the roof,
knew
to
where he
look,
was.
can see
Oh,
where
yeah.
he is. And they have their showdown, which really doesn't last that long. Dennehy's trying to shoot Rambo from above.
Because he's not a match for him.
Yeah.
You're a
No.
fucking small
Dude,
town
Rambo
sheriff.
lights
This
him
guy's a
up.
Green Beret motherfucker.
And apparently Dennehy really did this fall too.
Really?
He falls
snap.
through the glass ceiling part into the ground here,
this movie's brutal in
and
the
he
best ways.
like fucked
Also,
up his ribs.
why does a police station have a glass ceiling?
Well, it's Jerkwater USA.
Ma-
If you don't have a glass ceiling, get out of Jerkwater USA. It's like an HOA for the whole town.
Okay.
And Dennehy is telling him like, finish it, and Rambo's holding this.
am
dude,
here,
if,
kill me,
if
do it
Rambo
now.
shot that guy with this gun, it would be a fucking bloodbath.
Bloodbath.
I kind of want to see the special effects. from
I
that.
was waiting for it.
Yeah.
It's been a
This-
while since I've seen this.
Yeah,
so.
same.
In the outtake, the squib use was beautiful.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of outtakes and squibs, when he runs into the mine, it's another fun fact I read. Apparently, they had
Fun
squibs
fact,
set up
fun fact.
on like some of the wood, so you can have the bullet hits. Right when he runs into the mine, apparently he slams his hand down on one of the squib things and made it go off, and so it blew up in his hand.
Ow.
And he said he was afraid to look. It was some interview he did, and he said he was afraid to look at his hand because he thought he'd blown his thumb off.
Yeah. That's gotta stink. I want to rewind back though to after he fell out of the tree, and then he starts sewing up his, I believe it's his left bicep. It doesn't matter, it's his bicep.
It's his right.
Is it? So he's sewing up the bicep.
left.
And
Yeah.
stage left, but this thing looks beautiful. The wound looks amazing.
It
There is
looked
blood.
real.
There's blood running out, and also I got to compliment the blood is the right color.
It is.
This is
Consistency, like all of it is beautiful.
this is the best movie we've done in this podcast
by
by
far.
far. Like it's not even close.
We had to give you guys a good one before we went to trash.
Had to give me a good one, please.
Yeah, we needed a break after those superhero movies.
Did you know that apparently June is Men's Mental Health Awareness?
Really?
No, you know what's fun? So we've been talking about doing mental health movies, and I want to do a whole month where we each get to pick one. I was like, oh, well, what's Mental Health Awareness Month?
Oh, don't tell me.
Guess what it is?
Is it May?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we did the reverse of mental
Yeah,
health,
exactly.
and we just
I was
went
like,
full
well, that's like-
mayhem.
I was like, and that would have been perfect. Mental Health May. They start with
Yeah,
M's.
we did Bayham.
But we did
We did
fucking
mayhem,
oh, yeah.
dude. Oh, I'm sorry for ever suggesting that.
Another real quick side story, just because you guys mentioned that, and again, it's a story.
It is
Stallone
also Gay
told.
Pride, obviously.
Oh, Pride Month.
A story Stallone told, so take it with whatever. But apparently, with the arm wound and how you're talking about how it looked real, he thought it looked real, and he wanted to see how real it looked. So he went into a hospital with it on. And he was like, yeah, I need some help over here. Like, I cut my arm. And apparently they were just like freaking out because they were like, oh man, you need to come. You're losing a lot of blood. Because he left
Yes!
the little tube in and stuff that
Yeah.
makes the blood come out. And he was just like, oh no, just stitch it up and give me some Tylenol. And they were like, wow, you're so tough. Like,
I'm sure there was concern, but I'm sure they didn't just be like, "Oh no, just go ahead and leave with Tylenol." Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking
I'm
tough
sure- then he
American
had to
bastard.
explain it, yeah.
yeah. But no, it looks good. I like it.
It looked great.
Squib work, fucking golf clap.
So this is where Troutman comes in and he's like, don't do it, Rambo. Don't kill him because you'll regret it. And he's like, the mission is over. Like trying to use his like mental
Nothing's
illness
over.
against him. Yeah, and this
Oh
is
my God,
this
the way
is
he
the
comes with
best.
that. Nothing is over.
And
This,
all
I
the-
think this is
Nothing.
the best acting that I've ever seen Sylvester Stallone do.
Oh, I'm not gonna argue that. This is it.
Oh,
this is it, dude.
Oh, this
Nothing is over. Nothing is over. And he goes into this breakdown, this rant of like these are all real stories.
All the
Yeah.
non-lines he had earlier were saving for this.
yes. Oh my God, and I was eating it up.
So you, whatever you got, like give what you got.
There's the one where he's talking about his friend, and I don't remember his name.
Talking about Vegas.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
yes,
we
Vegas.
always talked about Vegas. We wanted to go to Vegas. We wanted to drive in his
57
58
Chevy or whatever.
58 Chevy, whatever it was.
Convertible.
And and they were at a bar, and this kid comes up, and he's like, "Shoe shine," and the guy was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, go ahead." And
I went to get some
Stallone
beers.
left to get beers, and the shoe shine box was wired, and it opened it, and it
It's hard to
exploded.
make fun of this part, man.
No,
Because he is.
And she laughed, but only
There's
because
one
it's so
part-
fucking. It's brutal, and it's like the way he's saying
What
it.
part did you
Okay,
laugh
so
at?
No,
he's
so
like-
he's talking about how his friend. It's fucked up. He's like, my.
I laughed at one
my
part
friend
as
is-
well.
My friend is all over me.
And he was like, I just want to go for a ride. He's
But
like,
why
yeah,
do you want to go
but
for
I-
it?
But I can't find your legs.
I kind of laughed
Yeah,
at that
she
part.
That was
chuckled?
my part.
The
I was
only,
like,
the only reason I laughed is because of major pain. Bubba, you ain't got no legs. Other than that, though,
Yeah,
at one point
it
when
was
he
very
first-
moving.
I don't know who else could pull this off, but at one point when he first starts crying, he goes, "Oh, geez," and I didn't laugh. If you guys started crying right now and we're like, "Oh, geez," I'm like, "All right, they're not that sad." They said, "Oh, geez," but
Yeah.
it's with his character. It's like, man, he is giving his all right here.
And it was-
It made me. All of my veteran friends out there, dude, please go talk to somebody because
seriously, if you
this
need
is what
help-
happens. He's talking to Richard Crenna, and it's the first time anyone's ever fucking listened to this guy
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
war stories. I go sometimes without talking to people for days, sometimes much more. Dude just wants to be fucking heard
Because people
and talk
won't
about
talk
he
to
has
him.
no
He's-
friends
he's
left.
going
He
off-
wants a job. He can't even get a job parking cars.
That's what he says. He's like, over there, I was in charge of tanks and other $1 million equipment. Now I can't even hold a job parking cars because no one will trust me.
It's
and he talks
rough.
about like, when he came back and everybody's yelling at him, calling him baby killer, and they're treating him like shit. Can't hold a job. He's got mental issues, so he can't talk to people. He can't socialize. It's just fucked up. There's
Yeah.
the kid, the friend getting blown up, all of his friends
All of
getting
it.
killed. There was another story, and I can't remember it right now. But then the cancer with the last guy he was
pulls
looking
pieces
for.
of his friend off of him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he literally says a line, something along the lines of like, "I was covered in chunks of my friend."
And he's like, I gotta pull him off. This is my friend. It's my friend. Like, dude,
Yeah.
it is. Like you said, I'd forgotten a lot about this. Like, I knew the movie. I knew it was a local thing. I knew it was him versus the sheriffs. But I forgot how fucking guttural this part was.
I have a lot of emotions towards this scene because just like
you got a lot of empathy for it.
well, just like you, we had friends go to fucking Iraq.
Yeah.
In 1 year, I lost 17 friends
Yeah.
within 4 months.
Yeah.
Because
And the ones that came back, you don't know if they actually came back.
they didn't.
You
Yeah.
know?
Like, it
if-
makes me I'm sorry, I'm getting
Yeah.
emotional now.
Yeah,
It makes
get
me
emotional,
emotional
it's
because I
fine.
feel for these people.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
We should support all of our
Especially in
veterans.
1980 when like we talked about PTSD was not a word.
It wasn't.
Therapy was a bad fucking word.
Yeah.
Now it's not perfect, but at least like I can tell you
People
I've been
are
to
a lot
therapy.
more open
Like
to
I got
it.
no problem telling people I've been to therapy and I
Yeah.
should probably still be in, but she moved
feel
to
like
Green
we all
Valley,
should.
so but yeah, like
She
I
moved
hope
20 miles away. I just can't.
well, part of my phobia might be
99?
driving, you don't know.
But yeah, it was never really addressed, and it was just like, hey, get over it, man. You're back
Yeah.
in the world. Be a part
Also,
of the world.
you're a baby killer.
And that's what he keeps saying too. Is he's like, I don't feel like I can be a part of this world. Like, these people don't understand me.
The
They
war's
weren't
not over
there.
for me.
And the
No,
people,
it's not.
and there are a bunch of people who are back who would understand him, but the people he knows, the people he spent his time with, because he was in this elite unit. So his small
was a
group of friends
brotherhood.
is like 8 people, I think they listed. They're all dead. So
Yep.
he has no one else to turn
He's
to.
got father figure Crenna, who he did try to call.
Yeah.
And he's like, I tried calling you at Fort Bragg. No one knew how to get a hold of you, dude.
I want to say the names that he listed when he was doing that initial call
Uh-huh.
were actual veterans that
I
died
believe it.
over in
It
Vietnam.
could be. But he breaks down, and it's a scene you don't expect at the end of this movie. Is like Rambo.
This is where it's not schlocky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is like Troutman is close
Oh
to
my
him,
God,
and
this
Rambo
emotion.
leans in and grabs him and starts crying. And it's like Rambo is transported back to being a child, and Troutman is his father, and
Yep.
he's the person who created him, right? And he's like, he needs somebody there for him, and this is literally the only person he knows who could understand him at
Yeah.
all. It's fucked up, man.
It is.
And
It's-
it would
it's
have been,
awful,
it would have
but
been a lot
it's
more
done
fucked up
so well. If he fucking died.
when he shot him. Well,
No, I'm saying this is the artistic and this is the wonderful scene.
yeah, so that's what Kirk Douglas was saying. Was like, well, if he dies, it's more like artistic. It has more meaning. It's whatever.
No, it doesn't.
But
I think this is
does.
more artistic.
And
And
we did
definitely more
watch the
meaning.
alternate ending, and what it is like he says something to Troutman about like, oh, I know you have a gun. I don't know if he did this breakdown in that version because they're
Yeah.
standing in a different position when
Right.
in the
fucked up.
cutscene.
He got killed after this breakdown. Jesus
But
Christ.
he tells him like, I know you're here to kill me. He's like, you have a gun, don't you? And Troutman's like, yeah. And he reaches in and grabs the gun from Troutman, and then he hands it to him, and Troutman's holding it. And he's like, just put me out of my misery,
I kind of
kill
thought,
me.
I
Hold
kind
on,
of
wait.
thought it'd be funny at one point for Troutman to grab the gun, like surprise, and start shooting the cops.
but
You guys mean nothing.
But Troutman's holding
My
the gun.
Rambo, my Rambo.
Troutman's pointing the gun at him, and he can't pull the trigger. And Rambo reaches out and like pulls his hand to make him shoot him.
But
And
there's
it's-
Yeah.
a specific line he says, "You created me, you kill me."
Yeah.
You brought me into this world, just like all my mom's threats when I was
Yeah.
a child. I
You
brought you
made
into
me
this
into
world, and I'll
this.
fucking take you out.
Hey, you want a reason to kill the sheriffs? I'll give you a reason to kill the sheriffs.
He's
All right,
like,
pal?
I need you to do it, not them.
Yeah.
There was
That's
another
what he
alternate
says.
version of that scene that was an outtake that was in the deleted scenes where he's like holding the gun to him and Troutman doesn't end up doing it. He like puts the gun down and then Rambo does Sylvester Stallone because it's not Rambo at this point, it's an outtake.
Right.
He's just, what does he say? He's like,
It's like, oh, thank God.
thanks for that or something like that. Like 'cause he doesn't shoot him.
So I need you to watch the squib on this on the outtake because it's like just out the back exactly where the fucking
right
gun
through the
is.
stomach
Like,
and he drops and dies. And I'm like,
Oh
Yeah,
my
kudos
gosh.
to everybody involved in this fucking
this
movie.
movie was amazing.
Maybe
like
we're
I
kind of
said,
Stockholm syndrome. We're like, man, this had a plot, cohesive story, acting.
No, this is a great
squibs.
movie.
This
Yeah,
was
it is.
it was
It is.
And it's also,
beautifully
this
done.
is, I mean, if you look at the timing of movies and stuff, this is basically the blueprint for every action movie to come after. And I mean, they
kinda
take
disagree,
it,
though.
they take it and change it
Yes,
into a
there it is.
schlockier thing. But the idea of like the over the top action and the kind of really not a good guy who is your good guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the guy.
His redeeming quality is
like-
not killing people.
Yeah. And I mean, they take it after this. I mean, Rambo kills thousands probably.
Absolutely.
But like,
Well, they're foreign.
well, yeah, once you take him out
It's
of the
okay.
US, it's
Just don't kill
right?
Americans in Jerkwater, USA.
I definitely want to say that I think this was actually a catalyst and wake up America and be like, yo, these people literally went to war for you.
It did not hurt.
Yeah.
Like, I think it helped to be like, oh, guess what? They didn't want to go over. They were all still drafted to
Yeah.
go over.
I-
They were forced.
That was
to
one
do
of the
this.
things he says. He's like, I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
You made me be there.
Yeah, I got ordered to fucking be there. Calm down.
Yeah.
The
And
baby killer comment.
that's literally the end. Like they walk out of the police station. There is a moment where he pauses, waiting to see if everybody's gonna like light up on him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He kinda
Oh.
looks around and
he's got like
everybody's-
a coat over his shoulders and like,
Yeah.
all right, Godfather.
Well, it's because they couldn't find the potato sack.
And they walk out, and like that's it.
That's
Like,
it.
And
there's
that is
no
it.
I
more.
do think if like
And
you
that's
said,
how
it's
you
a,
end
it's
a
a
fucking
blueprint
movie.
for action movies, with the exception of it got bastardized. Nobody would have the balls now to tackle this. It would be The Rock coming home and feeling sad and having PTSD, but he wouldn't go ham on a sheriff's station.
No, yeah, and that's the whole reason why I did this episode, because I knew this was a good movie. I didn't remember how like moving it was at the end, but I knew it
forgot
was
how
good.
fucking good it was.
But like
God.
I knew that, and I know we're gonna do the rest, and so we can see this beautiful film that came out of this, and just how Stallone himself just fisted it to death. I don't know. He just took this thing and just
He even
didn't give a shit about it.
Stallone.
in this interview.
Nobody else.
In this video, don't ever be sorry for that. in the special features that we saw on the Blu-ray, he does say that First Blood is his favorite. So I think he
Yeah.
acknowledges that he fucked
It's
the
definitely
others
his
up.
most dramatized one.
Funniest story, Kirk Douglas, I guess, came to him many years later and was like, hey, I still think that I was right. Like, I think my ending was the more artistic one,
Yeah.
but it would have cost you about $1 billion. So I'm glad you didn't do it.
Yeah.
And I think we all agree that his ending would have sucked.
And I looked up just spoilers for number 2, budget-wise. Did you see the powerhouse that number 2 became?
No.
It's made triple this money.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
well, I
it
mean,
was-
it's a lot of explosions.
But
mean-
then number 3 lost money.
yeah.
So
I don't.
It is
I know
what it
I've seen
is.
2. I don't remember it at all. I don't think I've ever seen 3. I know I've seen 4. All I remember is that part where he's got the 50 cal and he's
He's
just cutting people in
dismembering
half.
people.
Yeah, and I've never seen 5. So this will be interesting.
I watched 5 once, man.
I have
It's-
one
it's in
more.
Arizona.
Is it?
Ooh.
That's in Bowie, Arizona, where John Rambo's from.
Oh, scheisse.
The character John Rambo is from Bowie, Arizona.
Nice.
And so number 5
that
goes
even a
back.
place?
Yeah. Fuck
Where
yeah.
the fuck is that?
It's in Arizona.
By the way, I
Where?
love. I actually think I'm gonna kind of like that setting at least, because I love it when they have these movies that were like the low budget, like 80s movies and stuff, like when we did Savage Dawn, which I guess it was just me and Patrick, so you guys weren't there, but it's just set in like small town Arizona.
Uh-huh.
It's like these aren't places you usually see in the movies. Like,
It's funny that you say he's claustrophobic, because a big plot line for number 5 is this cave that he's digging himself. That's really strange now that you say it. But dude, so happy to watch this fucking
Yeah,
movie.
it was
Let's
great.
Get to,
Obviously-
let's get to recommendations, because around the board,
Yeah.
we told you to stop the
100%.
fucking podcast and watch.
Yeah, no, like I said, at the beginning of starting to watch this, I was like annoyed, but then I understood And I actually had more empathy for him.
I don't know the whole
Suicide
soundtrack,
is
but
painless.
But yeah, so we all recommend it, correct?
Yes.
yes, very much.
All around. I think even
Very
Patrick would
much.
recommend it.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't recommend it, I don't want to know them.
Yeah.
I will. One more fun fact before we do the outro, just because I got a kick out of it. The game Golden Axe that came out in 1989.
Oh yeah.
It took a bunch of sound bites from this movie for the sound effects in the video game. The two most notable ones are the sound of Deputy Sergeant Galt as he falls to his death from the helicopter, and then Mitch which is Caruso, after Rambo stabs him in the leg. Oh. So like the people screaming and
No
like
Wilhelm
the squelching.
scream is
I
why
was
this
just
movie-
going to say that.
That's why this movie's not perfect, by the way. I said near
They
perfect.
should've-
You give me
Galt's-
one Wilhelm scream.
Galt should have had a Wilhelm scream.
That would have been a good
Caruso
moment.
getting stabbed in the butt.
Well, falling
in
is the
pucker.
perfect time, and that would have been a good one.
You're not wrong.
But I mean, yeah, I checked this in on Letterboxd. By the way, if anybody out there uses Letterboxd, find me at Durka520. And I was like 4.5 stars, and I was like, the only reason I didn't give it 5 is because the sequels fucked this shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you watch it as a standalone movie, it's a great commentary on our veterans and how we
Yes.
should take care of them, and in general mental health, but especially wartime mental health.
Yeah.
Should be important, man.
Yeah. No, I support our troops. I do
Yeah,
support
fuck
our
yeah.
troops.
I don't support wars, but I will always support our troops.
Yeah.
Come home.
You didn't have to sign up for that, and you did.
On the next 4 weeks, we'll be talking about Rambo, and it'll be a lot less somber because it'll be a lot more like, hey, those veterans, they sure do like to murder. That's the next 4 movies. So I don't know, man. But that'll be it. Don't forget to check out Evasion. They're on Facebook, Spotify, Bandcamp. Check us out, badmoviesworstpeople.com, and all of the places that we're available, which now includes iHeartRadio, in case you have any friends who've been waiting.
Don't forget, if you do go to Harbottle Brewing, mention that you listen to this podcast, and you will get $1 off your first pint.
Oh, yeah.
And then keep an eye out. We'll be doing our, bad movie night at Dillinger, and if it's successful, we'll continue doing it, and maybe we'll expand to other places. I like to watch movies in public.
Yeah. I
Write
like
us.
watching
Let
movies.
us know.
But that'll be it for this week. Thank you for listening. I have been Derek.
I have been Whitney.
I'm Jack.
Good night, and go fuck yourself.